Good evening, and welcome to the April 18, 2024 meeting of the Town of Southampton Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting is being held live and also via video conferencing in accordance with the Town Board's enactment of Local Law Number 14 of 2022. Our next meeting and those following also will be held in person here at Town Hall and will continue to allow for remote participation. So please keep checking the town's website for updates and any new information. If you wish to view tonight's live meeting only and not participate, please do not join the Zoom meeting and instead go to the town's website for viewing access. With that, I'd ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For those of you with us tonight, in case of an emergency evacuation, please exit through the rear doors of this room and to one of the staircases located across the hall. Continue downstairs and out through the main entrance. Do not attempt to use the elevators during an emergency evacuation. In case of a medical emergency, the automated external defibrillator and first aid kit are both located in the hallway on this floor opposite the elevator. Restrooms are located across the hall from this room. Before we begin, I'd like to announce that tonight's meeting will be the last one for our esteemed colleague, Keith Tuthill. Before anything else, I'd like to recognize Katie Garvin, Counsel to the ZBA, to read a proclamation on his behalf.
Whereas the town of Southampton exists as one of the finest communities in the United States due to the generous contributions of its hardworking and conscientious citizens. And whereas service to one's community is central to the American character and a fundamental expression of responsible citizenship. Every day our town is enriched by the efforts of special individuals who labor together for the common good. Among them is Keith Tuthill, who is one of the town's longest-serving appointed board members. And whereas Keith has served in a variety of appointed positions where his judgment has made a critical contribution to the development and implementation of policy in the town of Southampton. In 1994, he was named to the Hampton Bays Citizens Advisory Committee, where he would advise the town's elected leaders on important community issues and serve as a link between the town board and its largest hamlet. In January 1998, Keith was appointed to the town's Conservation Board, where he would serve for 2 years until he became a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals in August of 2000. And whereas, sitting with the ZBA over the course of the past 24 years, Keith has participated in over 570 meetings, reviewed countless applications, pored over innumerable surveys and plans, and listened to hours of testimony regarding tennis courts, swimming pools, gas stations, non-conforming uses, and second-story additions. Keith has also served as the secretary to the ZBA. And whereas, in a fitting tribute, colleagues have chosen to honor Keith with celebratory festivities at his final ZBA meeting and to publicly thank him for his dedication and friendship over the years. With his retirement, he will be much missed by his coworkers and the community. However, this milestone occasion offers much more time for his family, wearing floral shirts and sitting on his covered front porch, a common amenity in the hamlet of Hampton Bays. And now, therefore, it be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Southampton hereby joins to offer our warmest congratulations, sincerest thanks, and best wishes to Keith Tuthill, and in doing so, presents to him this official proclamation which passes the 5-part test. It's all in here. Recognizing his 3 decades of service, he is a man truly worthy of the day's honor. May he enjoy much health and happiness in the years to come.
Speech.
I'm going to give him an opportunity at the end to just say a couple of words, but speaking for myself, Keith has been a great mentor to me as a new board member, always doing his best to keep me in line. I learned so much from him about the wonderful neighborhoods, the traditions, and the history of our town, as well as how long it is possible to wear shorts into the chilly season. In all honesty, Keith's institutional knowledge will be really greatly missed on this board, and his long and faithful service is greatly appreciated. Without spending too much more time honoring Keith for the outstanding public service and commitment, and we hope to do this more at a later date, I'd welcome any comments from other board members before we get down to business, but make them short, please.
Well, I'd like to go first. I'd
Go
like
ahead.
to thank Keith for welcoming me onto the board and being a little bit of a sparring partner. It's been fun. you make the meetings interesting.
That's true.
I'd like to thank Keith. When I was first appointed, I got to sit next to Keith for 2 years. We had a lot of fun. It was a pleasure. And the thing that's going to stick in my mind is 55 by 110. That's it. Anybody wants a tennis court? 55 by 110.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Keith.
I just want to say this, Keith, the first year being here, you just scared the crap out of me because of that look on his face. But once I saw you smile consistently and giving me the business, I knew you were all right, and appreciate your mentorship and some of the things you've taught me, a lot of the things you've taught me. And now I just get to sit next to you, and 3 months later, you're out of here. So I don't get it, but we wish you the best, and we thank you for all that you've done for us.
I'd like to thank all of you. Thank you very much.
And Helen.
Okay, and Helen, did you
Helen.
want to say something?
You're muted, Helen.
Oh, no.
Okay.
She's speechless.
There you go.
There's no words. We're both from happy days, and there's no words to express how much I'm going to miss you, because you've been with us so long, and never long enough, and it will be very, very difficult to replace you, Keith. I'm missing you already. I know I'm going to continue to see you. So have a wonderful, wonderful time in whatever you decide to do.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you, Helen.
I want to add one of my favorite memories of Keith, and actually of Helen, was when the town board basically said that all of our meetings had to be via Zoom. And I didn't know how to do Zoom, and I knew that Helen and Keith weren't going to know how to do Zoom. So I grabbed my teenage daughter, who knew how to Zoom very well, and we did a couple practices.
Oh, funny.
So I had Helen on the phone, and I had Keith on the phone, and my daughter was setting up the Zoom, and Keith kept on saying to my daughter, "What's my Apple ID? What's my Apple ID?" And my daughter kept on saying, "Well, you set it up. What's your Apple ID?" So we'll miss you, but we will see you.
Candace, do you want to say anything? Anthony, do you want to say anything?
I'll say something at the end.
Okay, well, this is the end. And then he's going to say something, and we're going to go on.
So I actually only found out within the last couple of days, and I did say to those who told me that I think it would be a loss for this board.
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate of the institutional knowledge,
Yeah.
and I like when meetings have interesting people on the board. It makes the work interesting, and it makes it more fun coming here.
Amen.
And I think you've been an asset to the town. I really do.
Thank you, Anthony.
I agree.
Anything else, Keith, or?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
And it's funny that you're man of few words tonight. I mean, you're usually,
After
you
the
got some.
meeting, at
It's
the
only
end of the
started.
meeting, I'll say
At the
something,
beginning of
that's
the
for
meeting,
sure.
all right, we'll hear from him, I'm sure.
Get your tissues.
Go out with a
Okay,
bang.
we're going to begin this meeting with the public hearing. We have applicants and members of the public here live with us and also standing by via Zoom, which is being monitored by CTV. CTV will mute speakers on Zoom until it's their time to give testimony before the board. Please be patient. If you find you're having difficulties accessing the hearing, visit the town clerk's meeting portal and click on the instructions link. Also, for those of you in the boardroom, please silence your cell phones and refrain from speaking to one another as it interferes with the recording of our proceeding. Tonight, Board Member Helen Burgess is participating via Zoom. As a reminder, applicants, agents, and members of the public speaking other than the attorneys will be sworn in, will state their address for the record, and will offer their testimony as it relates to the application before the board. In order to consider properly every application before us tonight, individuals commenting on a particular application will have a time limit of 3 minutes. Also, before handing in any submissions to the board tonight, please make sure that the documents identify the ZBA application name and the tax map number. The application name should also be written on your certified receipts. Unless otherwise stated at the end of an individual application hearing, all applications will remain open for written comments for all purposes until a set date. Those written comments can be addressed to the members of the board and sent via email, mail, and/or dropped off at Town Hall to the Board Secretary, Candace Cowell. At this time, I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the April 4th, 2024 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
I,
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. They're approved. Okay, Keith, do you want to take us through the agenda for the evening?
I shall. There is some changes to the agenda. Go to item 8, is Stefano Maris and Natalie Bergamashi. It's gonna be re-advertised for our June 20th meeting.
That doesn't need to be seconded, right?
Nope. It's a re-add.
Item 13 on the agenda is East Quogue Realty, 535 Inc., 535 Montauk Highway, East Quogue. This will be adjourned to our October 17th meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
I,
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Item 15, 2297 Montauk LLC, 2297 Montauk Highway in Bridgehampton. Move to adjourn this to our June 20th meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
I.
Chair votes aye.
Item 16 on the agenda, 625 Butter Lane Homestead LLC in Bridgehampton. I'll move to adjourn this to our June 6th meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
I.
Chair votes aye.
Okay, on the decision calendar, Sharon and David Wexler. I'll move to reopen to accept written submissions.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
I.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
With that being done, I'll move to close it for a determination later this evening.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, Town of Southampton Housing Authority will be, I'm gonna move to adjourn that to our May 2nd meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, then,
This is
the following decisions will be put off to our 5/16 meeting, May 16th. Matthew Frank, Eric Belfi, Mark Smith and Heather Cole, Ronette Riley, J10 Properties, Philip Patel, Aaron Appel, Alexander Vyman, and West Hampton Boat Works and Storage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and then there's one that we're gonna put off to our May 2nd meeting, and that's Robert Cammy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, that's it, as far as the changes.
Okay, so then let's get started.
Okay, go back to the beginning. Item 1 on the agenda is a minor variance review for Pablo E. Landano, 18 Old Riverhead Road in Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-227-1-4. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code for a proposed 28 by 14 swimming pool on a non-conforming lot. 330-6, general regulations that references 330-11, Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory distance from street front yard setback from 50 feet to 39.7 feet from the westerly property line, Washington Heights Avenue, and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction.
Helen, you're the lead on this application. Do you want to open it up? Or is there any
No, there's
representatives
no,
here?
there's no public hearing on it.
Yeah, I know, but she usually says that.
Since this is a minor variance, there'll be no public meeting. And at the end of our session today, there will be a decision of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Next.
Do we have to vote on that?
On the new app?
What?
What?
Oh, all right.
Second, do we have to second that? So second,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sec-
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Daly,
aye.
Mr. Tudhill,
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard,
Aye.
chair votes aye.
On
So
the,
it's
on the-
closed and.
on the
for
new
dis- do we have to do
application?
Do we have to do decision also, or just like,
No, the decision will be tonight.
Right.
okay, that's fine.
On the new applications, item 2, Airpac 79 Holdings LLC, 790 County Road 39, Tuckahoe, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-211-1-6. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code. 330-205B1 and 2 general provisions. To allow a proposed freestanding sign to be located on the north side of the property. A front yard setback of 3.7 feet where a minimum setback of 20 feet is required. And 2, to allow said freestanding sign to be located on a property where the entire building is set back at a distance of less than the required 40 feet. And 2, 330-84D, pyramid height for a freestanding sign on the north side of the property with a proposed pyramid encroachment of 18 cubic feet on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction, can you pass that to Bob?
Good evening. Kimberly Judd, 737 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, New York, for the applicant.
Sean Leonard, the architect.
Can I swear you in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name again and address.
Sean Leonard, 320 Hampton Road, Southampton.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Okay, Kimberly, it's yours.
Thank you. I would venture that most of us drove past this property tonight as we came to this meeting. This is the Carvel that's located at the corner of Tuckahoe Lane and County Road 39. It's a very odd triangular shaped lot, very small. It's at 790 County Road 39, and it contains 14,000 square feet. It's non-conforming as to size, but we submitted we submitted this certificate of occupancies for the adjacent lots pursuant to long-standing zoning board interpretation. If the adjacent lots have a CO, then there can't be a merger. So this property has possessed a certificate of occupancy since 1986, and I enclosed a whole bunch of decisions on here. You'll probably remember it as the Dave Bofil spot where he used to sell his boat, so this is the same site. And you'll see that a lot of the COs that I submitted have to do with the Bofil, Dave Bofil marine signs, signage, floor covering, interior renovation, signage, and there is one that was issued in 1983, which was a ZBA decision that permitted the front yard of the Bofil building to be 30 feet. So that's important, because later on, there's one of the items that we're requesting a variance from. I don't think we need it, but I'll let you decide that. We're looking for a sign. We're looking for a freestanding sign. You're all allowed to have, the businesses are allowed to have a freestanding sign. And the sign that Mr. Leonard drafted, I put a little color tab on it. That way it's pink. I can see yours from here. But this is the freestanding sign that we are proposing. And though it meets with the height and it meets with the size dimension, it's too close to the property line, right? So you have to be at least 20 feet from the property line. We're proposing to be 3.7 feet. And there is no place else on this property to put a freestanding sign really that will fit. And I think later on, you'll see, I enclosed also with a little tab on it, an aerial photograph showing the other freestanding signs that have been granted variances on County Road 39 to be close to the road as well. And then one right across the street, that plaza, that sign has a variance as well. And you may be asking, why is it so high? Though it meets with the height regulation, the reason why it's proposed at that height is because we could lower it, be 2 feet free clearance, which I think, and Sean, Mr. Leonard thinks would block the traffic over here. The traffic on Tuckahoe Lane, if you lowered the sign, would not be able to see what was coming. So that's why we propose it at the height that you see over here. And like I said, it meets the height requirement, it meets the area requirement, it just doesn't meet the distance to the road. If we were to comply with the code and put it 20 feet back, the sign would be in the parking lot.
In the parking lot, yeah.
And again, there is a tab here, you'll see at least this over here, this aerial, you'll see at least 3 other properties, and there's a 4th one that we talked about, Minogue Pools, which is not, but I didn't put it on this chart right over here, but you'll see 3 other ones that got variances. The one variance that the building inspector did list on there that I didn't think we needed was, it was advertised to allow a freestanding sign where the building is set back less than 40 feet. We, like I said earlier, we did have a 1983 variance that allowed the front yard to 30 feet. So I think that has some bearing. And also, pyramid, now, I don't know how long pyramid for signage has been in effect, but this is my first time seeing it, but I'm sure you guys have seen it plenty of times. The pyramid diagram that Mr. Leonard submitted shows 18 cubic feet, which I would submit is a very small amount. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Robert, your lead on this, do you want to?
Is the sign gonna be illuminated? Or is, no,
It will be lit,
And
yes.
just the one?
It's backlit though, from the, from internal. Just per the sign code.
Internal illumination.
Internal illumination, per the sign code.
Okay,
It'll, because I'm sure we'll be going before the, if this gets approved, we'll go before the ARB,
Yeah.
in
Right.
which case we'll make sure we're compliant with all
Okay.
of their
right.
town regulations.
No, I have no problem with it.
I appreciate that. I think that you are erring on the side of caution. I know this property very well. I know this intersection very well, and I think that the placement of the sign isn't necessarily going to affect anyone's sight line because that turning lane goes to the right around the property. The one that comes onto 39 is way up in the front, so, and there's always that van, the mobile ice cream van. So, but I appreciate the work that you did in order to raise it up so that people can see through.
Right, I think your safety considerations were admirable.
Yes.
My question is, how come it's just coming up now? I mean, this has been there for a while, and why are you
Yes.
asking for this now?
The owner did want to do this earlier in the process. It's just been taking a while to get them organized enough.
A couple
so
of
that we
years.
can get yeah, exactly, to get everything.
Okay, okay. Any other questions from the board members?
Sean, we need you to just add I think the address and the tax map on your sign plan. I don't think it's on there.
Oh, okay.
No,
Is-
like submit it to the board.
Yeah,
Yes.
As a submittal.
Oh, this one, this one? Oh,
Whatever.
no,
No,
the
the
pyramid.
plan.
The plans themselves, I think they don't
Right,
have.
the plan.
The address or the tax map for the property.
Okay,
It just says for Carvel.
Okay,
no problem.
okay.
My question is that this is is a lot of relief. Could that sign not be put further back into the triangle of that ground there? Could it not be put
Well, when he's going.
further back
Yeah,
into
back
here?
in that- the
And
radius.
so that not as much relief would be granted?
We could, but that would put us into the corner clearance. There's a 50-foot corner clearance that we're right up against, and that's why we proposed the sign there.
Okay. Is
And
there,
does the sign
yeah.
have 3 legs? Is it, it's just 2,
Just-
okay, because I couldn't tell. It looked like maybe there
Oh,
was a
yeah,
third.
Oh, yeah,
Right
it does
there.
look, yep.
Oh,
There's
it's the
that
tree,
line there.
it's the tree,
Tree in the
excuse me.
back.
Yeah.
is
Well,
there,
as much as I love Carvel for my whole life and have a waist to prove it, I'm not in favor of it, but clearly I'm in the minority.
is there
so-
anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application?
No one on Zoom.
Okay.
So I move to close the meeting, hold it open for written decisions till May 3rd with a decision on May 16th.
Second.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you. We have the next one, so we're just gonna sit up
You're just
here.
gonna stay here?
Okay.
Okay, let us-
Switch
give us
seats.
a second to get our act
Yes.
together.
Item 3 on the agenda is Kerry O'Kudowitz, 170 Little Fresh Pond Road, North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-96-3-44. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code for a new single-family, two-story dwelling on a non-conforming lot. 330-115C continuance. For a proposed porch on the north side of the property, a required front yard setback of 10.2 feet, where 11.2 feet is pre-existing. For a proposed porch on the east side of the property, a required front yard setback of 11.6 feet, where 14.8 feet is pre-existing. 2, 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, excuse me, for a total lot coverage of 29.1%, where a maximum of 20% lot coverage is allowed. 3, 330-84D, height pyramid for a total pyramid encroachment of 3,147 cubic feet. 1,656.5 on the south side and 1,490.5 on the north side. And 4, 330-109A, fences, walls, accessory driveway structures, and clotheslines to allow a fence over 4 feet in height to enclose the outdoor shower on the required front yard north side of the property and any other relief necessary.
The board has jurisdiction. Pass it to Susan.
Okay, I'm gonna need to swear you in again.
This is Susan.
Do you
Oh, you
swear?
want us to-
And, yeah, I'll do you separately. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Sean Leonard, 320 Hampton Road, Southampton.
Okay, Sean, and do you
Carrie.
promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Okay, please state your name and address.
Carrie O'Conwitz, 385 North Main Street, Southampton.
Okay.
I
Thank
think
you.
you're gonna have to speak a little louder, Ms. O'Connor. I mean, you don't have to right now, but these mics don't pick up real well.
Okay,
For the
and you
applicant,
want to just state your name, please?
for the applicant Kimberly Judd, 737 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, New York. I just wanted to let the board know that the architect of record is actually Lee Jaffe, and his floor plans are in the application, but the pyramid plans were drafted by Mr. Leonard. I think this is the first application in my 25-year career where I went to the building inspector and had 9 variances I thought I needed, and she told me I only needed 5. So usually I go in there and it's like, you forgot this, Kim, you forgot this, you forgot this. But I think because of your recent interpretation on required yards, it eliminated a lot of the variances that we had to see. This is a really odd lot. I don't know, I know you're the lead, I didn't know if you had a chance
I
to
went there.
go to see
It's
it.
a very odd lot,
Yes, you would think that this here on Lakewood, that's not her, part of her lot.
and it's not big.
It's not big, so this is actually a park that's a part of the subdivision map. So her property, Ms. O'Conwitz's property, is on Little Fresh Pond Road and also on Lakeview Court. And I know the variances that are listed look like a lot, but I think, that's why I colored this so you could see. This is the existing house, which is the pink right here, okay? The green is what she's adding, right over here. It's 154 square foot of footprint in the back is what she's adding. So the house is not moving any closer to the residential property to the south. It's not moving any closer to the park. It's not moving any closer to Little Fresh Pond Road. And if you look at this pink line I drew here, that's the existing deck that's there right now. So we're gonna be taking that deck down, and this right here, this green line that I drew is the front porch. So the front porch that she's proposing is not going to be any closer to Little Fresh Pond Lane than her existing deck is. She needs, so that's one variance right there that she needs, but again, the porch is going to be more of a conforming setback than the deck is. Now, if you go to the north side of the property, this is the other variance. Again, the house is not getting any closer to the northern setback, but this little porch here, you'll see, is going to require relief because it's going beyond what she already had. So this porch is going to be 10.2, and it's a very small porch, it's a step up, basically. And over here to the back is where all her variance relief is going to be driven by the pyramid. Again, she's gonna be bumping out the back of the house 5 feet. So the applicant proposes to demolish what's there, build a new house with 2 stories and 2 bedrooms. Right now, her existing house is 597 square feet. And she's proposing to, I'm just looking for my numbers here, that way I don't give you the wrong numbers. Here it is, okay. So she's proposing to add 154 square feet to the existing first floor, and to add a second floor containing 733 square feet, and that will bring it to a total floor area of 1,484 square feet. The proposed height of the wall for both stories is gonna be 8 feet, because the board doesn't wanna see the height of the wall beyond that, and that's what we're proposing to do here. And so, also, the lot coverage, the existing lot coverage, the house already exceeds. It's 20% is the lot coverage, the existing house is 23%. So it's advertised at 29, and so that 29% includes the green that we're adding to the back, but it also includes the porch because it's covered. It includes this porch here because it's got by cover I mean it's got an awning over the top. And it also includes this garage here, which is existing. So those things that combine now, you're adding in the lot coverage, the front of the porch, which has a covering, the back here, and the porch, and it brings the lot coverage to 29%. The deck in the back will be below 1 foot, so it doesn't require any variance relief. The garage that we're gonna be renovating doesn't require any relief because we're maintaining it. But what does is this outdoor shower, because we wanted a wall to cover the person who's taking a shower, so that will require a variance. Also, that will require a variance if you flip to the pyramid drawing that Mr. Leonard submitted. There's the total cubic, did you wanna, can you hold it up?
Sure.
The total pyramid relief that we're requesting is 3,147 cubic feet, which is 1,656 cubic feet on the south side, right here, and 1,490 cubic feet on the north side, but also on the north side, correct? Isn't there this little?
That little sliver, that's part of the.
Right
That
here.
adds up to, because I added it up differently.
It adds up to 3,147 cubic.
How come I got 3,278?
I went off of the,
1650.
Did you forget to add that little bit?
yes. I didn't, I only
Okay.
added the 2, I didn't add the
Okay.
third, and you're
So
correct.
So the actual
Yes.
request is for 3,200 and,
Yes,
right.
you're correct.
Oh, is that the 144?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
3,278 cubic feet. And that's for the house.
Yes.
What about the garage?
The garage, we're going to, that's going to stay. It's gonna be renovated.
I some
The
feet
garage,
on that too.
I'm sorry?
I
Yes,
saw-
that was done,
So that garage, the same height, the same pyramid encroachment from before?
correct.
So it's not that, the structure is not gonna change its shape?
Not
No.
changing its shape, that's right. That's correct. So there was a little bit of confusion whether that needed relief or not.
Right.
So that's why I prepared this,
Oh,
just
yeah.
as a,
It was the building inspector's interpretation that since it was being maintained and continued, it didn't need any relief except for the outdoor enclosure, the shower.
Okay. Well, I looked at that garage. It's tiny as can be. It's very, how tall is it? 11 feet?
It's just
11
about-
feet and 4 inches?
It's 11.
And so that's not gonna change, the same height, the same outside
Yes.
perimeter, the same, what are you
Yes.
gonna do to it? Just take it down and redo it? Or are you gonna like refortify the wood, or what are you doing?
Probably refortify everything.
Yeah, because it's in
It's in bad shape.
Yeah,
It's been
terrible
bad
shape.
shape.
But, okay. So I want, because I think if you're gonna change the garage in any way, you're gonna have to include that pyramid.
That's
Request
what the
as
building
well.
inspector advised, but the client said they are not proposing to
Just the
alter the
footprint.
roof line or change the height of it.
Okay.
I attached some, this is a small lot, I attached some ZBA decisions for this area. The neighboring property to the south had received a variance for a deck, and a couple other lots in the neighborhood had gotten some setback relief as well. There are no wetlands on this property. So there'll be no adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. It's not located in a flood zone. And anything, basically, because the size of the lot is so small, anything that she proposes to add on is going to require some relief. And I think probably, maybe, usually what I see with the board is the pyramid is the one that you are most concerned with. But I will say that the house conforms with the setback to the southern property, and would, if we didn't put that porch on, we'd be able to maintain that setback line, but if not for adding that porch.
Do we need to, because of the, well, we are adding the stairs, you need a setback relief on that?
No, it's actually downward stairs, it's
Okay.
not upward stairs, so there's a provision under 33083, I think, under yards, that if it's less than 5 feet, which the cellar stairs are, it doesn't count into the setback.
Okay, I went to the property. It's a very, it's a compromised piece of property, there's no question. The house and the garage are in bad shape. Let me see why you're doing something with it. I have a concern, though, about the pyramid relief. And my concern is that this property is elevated higher than the property south. The property to the south goes down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only going to be.
Yeah, it starts up at the road at this corner, yeah.
Yeah,
just-
and it goes down. So it's gonna be very imposing. And, it's a small lot. I think that's a lot of relief requested for pyramid. I understand that you've got some constraints, but, I think there are some two-story homes in the area, not all of them. The house next to it is clearly not. I don't know, I have some concern about that.
Okay.
And then in terms of the shower, generally, as you know, we don't like to have higher than 4-foot fences in the front yard. But clearly, if somebody's in the shower and it's only 4 feet, it's not gonna be very good, unless there's some other way to like block it with shrubbery or whatever. But,
I would say there, right now,
it's
you
very,
go
it's
there,
very.
there
it's-
are no leaves on the trees, but
Yeah, but
come
it's
summer,
not
it'll be-
heavily vegetated. It really isn't. I mean, in fact, one of my suggestions would be to put some vegetation on that property line, because it's not vegetated. It's pretty open. And yes, the trees there's leaves on the ground, but they're small trees. They're not like, big, evergreen trees. So,
Is
Well,
it a
it's-
fence though, or is it just like an enclosure?
It's an enclosure, I think.
And that's how they're
That's what they
defining it.
call it, a fence, yes.
But they called it a fence, but that's why I said, you know,
We haven't seen these yet,
No,
you know, so
yeah.
but that's what I'm saying, it's not a fence, it's a.
No, it's a shower enclosure to cover the people.
yeah, no, I get it, but it's in the application as a fence.
It is. That's how she wrote it up.
Yeah, yeah, no, I just wanted to
Yeah.
explain that it's not like a 8-foot fence along the whole entire property.
No, no,
Yes,
no, no, it's
no,
just a
it's not.
small, and it doesn't have a roof over
Yeah.
it or anything, but yeah, but it's, I can understand why you would want an 8-foot fence in that area.
A 6-foot.
6 foot, yes.
Yeah.
I think you
Right.
said 8, didn't you?
No, I think it was 6, right?
No, maybe you didn't say.
Wait, I'm looking at the.
Oh, 6 feet,
ad.
that's right,
Yes.
Right.
6 feet, sorry. No, wait a second.
4 feet.
No, let's see.
I thought it was
A fence over 4 feet, so it didn't stipulate whether it's 6 or 8 feet.
I believe
just-
it was 6, right? Wasn't it 6? Yes.
Keep it at 4 and just screen it.
Well, and that front yard is really your backyard, right?
Yes.
This part is.
The Lakeview
backyard,
Court.
yeah. The
Lakeview Court is the,
back part.
is.
Correct.
This
And that's
is-
where the shower's going, over there
Yeah,
by that.
right.
Oh.
Attached to the
And
garage,
it's
right?
like, this is a very small area, and
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, no, I was there as well.
Mrs.
I
Aquarius
think-
is only 4 foot tall anyhow.
I'm sorry?
She's only 4 foot
Yeah,
tall
that's
anyhow.
I'm going to agree with the chair. I think the house is too big for the lot. I think the pyramid request is more than I'm comfortable with, and the lot coverage is more than I'm comfortable with too, but it's mostly the pyramid.
I concur.
Okay. I do know when I initially submitted the application, we had a different architect that submitted the pyramid. That application, it was 2,500 cubic, which is more in line with what I've seen you grant. It took quite a few months, but it was not calculated correctly. We later learned after we submitted the application. And that's why we had to get Mr. Leonard involved, because I know he knows how to calculate a pyramid. So when he calculated the pyramid, it was a surprise to us that it was actually 500, 700
700 more,
cubic feet
yeah.
more than what I initially submitted the application
Almost
for.
yeah.
and then we had
So-
to add the
And it's gonna
additional.
be it's gonna be the most, in my view, imposing house
Yes.
on that area. You go down the street and there's a couple of
It's all
more,
little houses.
two
It's all
stories,
cute
it's,
little-
yeah. And
I just think it would be out of character with the neighborhood.
It will be.
And
So,
particularly because it's elevated higher than.
because it's elevated as well.
Can you give us a date for another meeting, and we'll come back with,
Let me see if
Oh,
there's
yeah,
anybody in
of
the
course,
audience and
of
on
course.
Zoom for it. Anybody else on the board who has anything to say? Well,
No,
okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application of 170 Little Fresh Pond Road? And there's no one on Zoom.
No one knows.
Okay, so who's, it's mine.
Sure.
Okay.
You have the dates and the numbers.
I
It
do
would be
have-
anyone,
Let's see.
but they'll need some time, so.
Yeah, how much time do you need, you think?
we're gonna have to contact Mr. Jaffe and see when he can
June
revise.
6th?
It's April now. Oh, okay, June 6th. You don't have anything in May, or you're all
No,
booked
we
up?
do. May 16th.
Okay, can we try that, please?
Okay. All right, so we're going to hold this application open until May 16th. And we will see you back here.
Can I real quickly tell a funny Keith Tuttle story?
Oh, please.
Fast.
Do we need to vote on
I was very,
Oh, wait.
Hold on,
Go
let's
ahead.
vote.
Okay.
it? Wait,
go ahead.
I'll
you're on
second.
first.
Okay. Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio. Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Sorry about that.
Next.
Yes, go ahead.
So I was
got so excited to
very
hear it.
lucky. I got to sit next to Keith for 4 years. We both started here at the same time. I think he's the only person who ever walked out on that balcony and that window behind you. Now, you can't see it because there's a shade all the way down, but 24 years ago, there was no shade there. And Mr. Tuthill, along with the chairperson at that time was Barbara Labrador, Herb Phillips, they would only let you go for 2 hours, and then it was a cigarette break. So so Barbara Labrador was very good. 10 minutes before 9 o'clock, she would say, "You got 10 minutes." And then if the person was still on, she'd like, "Break!" And then Keith, Herb, and Barbara were out the door. One time, I think Keith realized because she only gave a couple minutes for the break, it was probably quicker for him to smoke his cigarette on the balcony, which helped.
hilarious.
Do you remember that? We all were
Wish I
in
had a
horror when he did it. He looked at the window up. We were like, "Oh no, we don't know if you can go out there," and he did.
Was he wearing his shorts?
I don't remember, but
Well, let's both
it's,
go out there
it's,
and
it's
wave
still,
goodbye to her
it
tonight.
held. I don't know if it's still there.
They hold me, I don't know if they hold.
Touche, too much Carvel.
I'm hoping you'll call somebody Bub before the end of the night and then adjourn a case so you can flog the contractor when they come back, so. I'm gonna miss
Thanks very
those,
much.
those euphemisms that you used to say.
Oh, thank you. We'll see you on the 16th.
Yes,
of
thank
May.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's cute.
Okay.
Okay, item 4 on the agenda is Denise and Arlene O'Rourke, 5 Oak Street in Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-260-1-42. Applicant requests relief from Town Code 330-116, extension as it relates to 330-167B for a proposed 410 square foot addition that is a 50% expansion of the existing second dwelling on a lot with 2 houses on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
The board has jurisdiction.
Hello.
Hello.
Are either of you attorneys?
No.
Okay, so let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
Please state your names and address.
Dennis O'Rourke,
Arlene O'Rourke.
5 Oak Street,
5 Oak Street.
as opposed to Denise O'Rourke.
Okay, Dennis and Arlene. Tell us about your application.
Well, we have a lot in Hampton Bays, 5 Oak Street. It currently has 2 dwellings on it. The second dwelling, we'll call it a cottage, only has 1 bedroom in it. We now have a house full of, how many people?
There's 5 adults and a baby
Yeah,
in our house.
We're bursting at the seams.
And we'd like to make the other cottage a little bit bigger so that some of them can move next door.
We want
Us Irish always have that problem.
to add another bedroom to it, basically. We've been planning this for a long time. We tried to make it, the design, so we wouldn't need any extra variances. It complies with pyramid and all setbacks, lot coverage. It's not in a flood zone. We have no wetlands. There's no clearing restrictions.
You know what you're talking about, too.
I might. I did go over this with your building inspector, and he didn't have any problem with it. And I spoke to Mike Benacasa, the retired. When he was here, he didn't have any problem with it either. My wife grew up there. Her family lives across the street and around the corner. So it's we have a little complex there. So we'd like to be able to expand this to make it more habitable.
Because we are bursting at the seams.
We tried to make it the minimum size possible, and that we can possibly get away with.
We like to
You
go.
gotta keep it, keep it 50% or under, you know what I mean?
50% or under.
Yeah.
This way we can keep our kids in town.
Did you give us anything in the application, Dennis, that verifies that it's 50% or under?
I gave it to Katie. I don't know.
Oh, you just handed it up now?
Yeah,
Oh, with the postings and stuff?
yeah. I saw
Okay.
Katie. I saw her, Candace, and she said to bring it tonight.
Oh, all right. But
Okay.
was there multiple copies or was just one? I just gave it to Keith.
Oh, I have 2 full size and 9, 11 by 17.
Okay. So
We need
he has
to
to pull it out.
distribute those.
I thought that was the application that was.
So I'm just a little confused. So the cottage is 377 square feet, correct?
It's very small, yes.
And then you want to add 386 square feet, which makes it a total of 763 square feet, correct?
Yeah, and
Okay.
the engineer calculated all
But
that.
what's the 50% is 50% of the 377. So it's almost over 100% of what the, or am I missing something here?
You get 50%
From,
of both buildings. The total square footage on the lot.
Oh, all right, so you add both buildings together, Katie, correct?
I didn't hear what you said.
All right, so instead of, so you add the square footage of both existing buildings, and then you look whether that addition is 50% of that
Correct.
added.
Correct. We subtract any other additions that were made to it.
Okay, all right, so you
And
now
you can add
have,
it to either one.
okay. So we now have main house and existing cottage at 1,762 square feet, and the proposed cottage is 755, so that's less than 50%.
Like I said, we tried to keep it as small as possible
Yeah.
and, with the minimum impact on the neighborhood. Because her sister lives across the street and she'd make our life miserable.
she good. She won't.
We're done.
Us Irish, we do that.
Yeah.
These are all the same.
But if it's under 50%, why are we even
Oh, yeah.
Because it's pursuant to the town code, you have to keep track of every single addition.
Okay.
33167 says any expansion of any non-conforming use has to come to the ZBA. And as long as it's under 50%,
It's
you know,
fine.
it's typically approved. You just want to keep track of it.
I had discussed this with the town attorney
All right,
previously.
so in my, well, Keith, this is
I
yours.
think we
Yes.
talked about it.
I have no problem with this, so you know.
I agree.
I don't have a problem with it
I
either.
concur.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I have no problem with it either.
Keep the
All
family
right,
together.
anybody in the audience,
Ellen, anybody in the
We do what
audience
we can.
wishes to be heard on this application at 5 Oak Street?
You know, that little guy in the back is making a noise.
Keep them happy.
Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application? Okay, Keith.
okay, motion to close, written subs by,
May
5-3.
3rd.
yeah, 5-3, and then the determination on 5-16.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
I,
Chair votes aye. Thank you very much.
And sorry to see Keith is going. I sent plenty of work his way the last 20-something years.
All right,
Thank you
there
so much.
go.
The best wishes
Take care,
for
thank you.
everybody
Yeah,
with
yeah,
this.
and getting a little bit space back.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
You
Take
ever
care, be
step on
well.
a Lego in bare feet?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I have. Okay,
38 Seashore Avenue.
I guess we're up to 5, Keith, right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to catch up.
That's okay, take your time.
Okay, item 5 is Keith Sabot, 38 Seashore Avenue in East Quogue, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-318-1-37.1. Applicant requests relief from Town Code 330-115C, continuance for a principal rear yard setback from the existing non-conforming 39 feet to 29.8 feet for 2 proposed additions to a one-family dwelling on a non-conforming lot, and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Kevin Springer, 104C, Squiretown Road, Hampton Bays, New York, 11946.
Okay, Kevin, tell us about this application.
Okay, we have currently, we have a non-conforming lot of approximately 16,000 square feet in a R20 zone, which requires 20,000. We are looking to a proposed addition. Now, there's only one addition.
I just read what's there,
What's that? No, I'm just saying.
for the last time.
If you look at the plans, it says an addition on the south side, but that is actually just a renovation of a room that's already there. It's it's going to be, it's technically kind of like a laundry room, but it's going to be used as a pantry and laundry room. Mainly a
expanded?
pantry. What's that?
Not expanded?
No expansion to
Same
it.
setback.
What's that? Yes, setback is, which is on the survey,
Is that on the survey as one story to be rebuilt?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And then, so then if we go to the other room, so we currently have I would say it's probably about a 1,300 square foot ranch. There was an addition several years ago to make it a little bit bigger with the living room, kitchen area, because it was started as a 750 square foot ranch. The proposed bedroom is going to be, it's part of it is already there, but it's the master bedroom, but we're proposing to make it bigger as a master bedroom suite. The idea was to go out the back. We already are obviously non-conforming on that north side. Because of the angle that the actual house is on the property, it does jut back into the line a little bit by about a foot. We never, obviously, because of the layout of this and the nonconformity, we never actually would meet the rear yard setback. But we are still considerably off the line. The actual addition is, it's a small addition. It's 224 square feet, I believe. So it's not large by any stretch. The idea of not going up was for two reasons, they are a middle-aged couple with a couple of children still. They were looking to, separate themselves a little bit. But going up down the road would be, obviously, now you're putting in stairs, and possibly also now going back to a variance for maybe a pyramid. So, at this point, that was what we came up the best. It doesn't have extra high ceilings or anything. The back of the property is basically screened already. I have sent out all the letters, received every one of them back, have not received any feedback from any of the neighbors. So I don't, unless there's somebody on Zoom or somebody here that might feel otherwise, I don't believe there's any issues there. I will be handing this in to you as a overview map of just the 2 blocks around there. It's basically a 1-block radius of Seashore and Bayview, Baycrest, I might add. And I marked out a couple of them that already have rear yard setbacks, which are even requesting even more than ours. But unfortunately, that's the basis of this neighborhood. They're all very small lots.
Yeah.
It's a quiet area.
Yeah.
And there's just not a lot going on. That, unless you have any questions, I'm more than willing to answer anything. I don't think we've hit everything. It's obviously not a deterrent to the neighborhood. It's basically stays in character. Because we're staying in the bedrooms, there's no septic involved. There is no pyramid because we're staying at the 1 bedroom, at the main level. And I think that's it, unless anybody has any questions.
Helen, this is yours. You're the lead on this. Do you have any questions?
I visited the property, and what Keith Sabo is asking for is acceptable to me. I have no problems with it at all. No. It's a
Anyone else?
very small addition, for a relatively small house.
No, it's reasonable.
I don't hear a lot of discussion at the board level. I think, there's not a problem, but let me ask for the audience. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on 38 Seashore Avenue? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 38 Seashore Avenue? Okay, Helen, this is yours.
Okay, we're going to close the public hearing. We're going to open the written submission to May 3rd with a decision on May 16th.
Second.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay?
I'm sorry, can you repeat those 2 dates though? I think I heard May 3rd and
May
May
3rd
16th.
and May
written
16th.
and
5/3
decision
and
May 16th.
5/16. Okay,
Okay,
Thank you.
okay,
Have a good evening.
thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
You too.
Okay. All right.
Item 6 on the agenda is Sarah Quinn and Alexander
And
N.
Yeah.
Native-
34 Mineola
What'd he
Court
say?
in Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-345-1-48.1. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code. 1, for a proposed house addition and porch on the south side of the property. 330-115, continuance for a principal front yard setback of 41.3 feet, where 43.8 feet is pre-existing, and a principal rear yard setback of 66.1 feet, where 66.9 feet is pre-existing. And 2, for a proposed detached garage, 330-11, Residence District's Table of Dimensional Regulations, for an accessory front yard setback of 20 feet, where 70 feet is required, and an accessory rear yard setback of 15 feet, where 20 feet is required, and 330-76D, placement of accessory buildings, structures and uses in all districts, and 330-83C, yards, to allow the detached garage to be located within the required front yard of the principal dwelling.
Are you an attorney?
I'm not.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Matt Ivins, 38 High Street, Sag Harbor, for the applicant.
Just passing down the revised site.
Okay, yeah, so this is just information for reference purposes. Okay, let me get started here. Let me give you a background. So the property owner wishes to construct a detached single-car garage. It measures 18 by 20.5 feet. The height of it is going to be 16.3 feet. This property is a bit constrained, besides wetlands along the northwestern shoreline. The property is defined as a corner lot, and that the fronting street, which is Mineola Court, which is along its south side, intersects with the waterfront lot line along the west side. Consequently, the property is burdened with 2 front yards, which greatly reduces the size of the rear yard for placement of any type of accessory structure. Character of the neighborhood, we did a study of the neighborhood. The neighborhood study area was pretty much any properties within 800 to 1,000 feet from the property. There's a map in that packet there that gives you an idea of what's been going on with that neighborhood. The neighborhood is located within R40, and the majority of lots are pre-existing non-conforming with respect to lot size. Consequently, there are many examples of noncompliance with zoning standards in this neighborhood, some pre-existing, some achieved via variance relief. Referring to that map, we found that we did a study, it was 82 properties within the study area. 50 of these properties were granted some form of relief, for a total of 69 variances. Some properties had more than just one variance. Of these 69 variances, 13 were for accessory structures that were granted setback relief, or for being located within a prohibited yard, or both. Of these accessory structure variances, 3 were for waterfront lots with the access road intersecting the shoreline, creating once again a corner lot on the water with 2 front yards identical to our situation. In that packet, I have those 3 examples just for your reference. So there is a history of the board recognizing the constraints of these waterfront corner lots in the granting of these variances. In one situation, the board actually did grant a variance for a swimming pool 20 feet off that front yard. You'll see that. Compliance with the required 70-foot street setback for accessory structures and placement within a rear yard would result in the proposed garage being located well into the northeasterly section of the property, and which would require a 70-foot long driveway to gain access from the street, bisecting a usable portion of the southeasterly section of the property. This section of the property is also the narrowest portion of the property. As you can see on the survey, it narrows down as you go from the northwest to the southeast.
with respect to the placement of the garage at 15 feet from the rear yard instead of 20, we're hoping to give the owner some additional outdoor space between the garage and the house. The rear yard property boundary currently contains vegetation now, so all efforts will be taken to screen the garage from the neighbor to the southeast. Question on whether the variance is substantial, we do not believe so. Again, 84% of the properties within our study area benefit from some sort of zoning relief, including variance relief from a front yard or street. Consequently, a large majority of the neighborhood has been defined by both variance relief or pre-existing improvements. With respect to physical or environmental impacts, no impact is anticipated, and that the proposed garage will comply with stormwater drainage requirements. The property also benefits from a letter of non-jurisdiction from the DEC and a letter of non-jurisdiction from the Town of Southampton Conservation Board. That's about it. I'm here to answer any questions.
John, you have a lead on this?
Yeah, I went and visited the property. It's a very open lot at this point. There was a lot of work being done. And, you know, I'd like to hear if there's anyone in the public who has any questions about it. The relief being asked does not seem excessive to me at all. But I don't have any
Okay.
questions for you. It's all very self-explanatory.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, right. I was just trying to, I had some questions about. I also don't really have a problem with this. I think you're burdened by having a road and a waterfront and wetlands. And I appreciate the fact that if you were to push the garage back towards the northeast corner, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Then you would take up any kind of existing yard that, you know, you have, with the addition of a long driveway. Anybody else have anything? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on the application of 34 Mineola Court? Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on the application of 34 Mineola Court? Okay, so I think, John, take it away.
Okay, I'd move to close the public hearing on this application. Hold it open for written submissions due by May 3rd with a decision on May 16th.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome. Oh, it's new paper. All right, next.
Next is item 7 on the agenda, which is Isabella von Althien Dagum and Alexander B. Dagum as trustees. 163 Maple Lane in Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-69-3-20.2. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code for a proposed attached one-car garage and a non-conforming lot. 330-76B, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts. And 330-83C, yards to allow the detached garage to be located within the required minimum side yard and total required side yard for the principal building and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Can you pass that to Mike?
Are you attorneys?
Hold on one
Okay.
second, we just gotta pick.
Okay. Are you an attorney?
No, I'm not.
He's gonna speak after they give their testimony, he just has.
A hearing issue.
He wants to sit there and hear.
Not a problem. Okay, let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, please state your name and address.
Dawn Harvey, 21 Cove Road, Sag Harbor.
And-
Dave Harvey, D&D Harvey Architects, 21 Cove Road, Sag Harbor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, tell us about the application.
Yes, so we're basically asking for an accessory structure within the side yard. This house and property was reviewed by the historic group and was found to be, of interest. So we've proposed additions which are already underway. And in an attempt to limit the volume of the building, the programmatic need of a garage was determined that it would be least impact the neighbors by a single one-car garage, low, shingle style, in the side yard. The rear yard already has a barn, which was also deemed as part of the historic part of the project. So there really wasn't an opportunity to put another structure in the backyard. That's where we had to put the minor addition to the house. So this was all in an attempt to limit the impact from the road. We're not asking for it to be in the front yard. It does meet accessory setbacks, so there's no setback relief, there's no pyramid relief necessary. And it was viewed that if it was added onto the house, the volume of the house would be substantially changed. So it was kind of an attempt to keep it as minimum as possible.
And what would be the problem with adding it to the house? It would increase the volume of that?
It increases the volume, but more importantly, it changes the vernacular of the building and kind of the massing of the building. And then it would require, like, the driveway to sweep around the side. So we felt the single-story, one-car garage was more in keeping with the neighborhood. We've just sent some images. It's only one property east of kind of the business zone on Maple Lane.
Right.
And there are other garages in the neighborhood that face the street and are actually closer to the street, but they happen to be attached to the building. So we felt this was a very good compromise with all of the different variables.
So you're not asking setback relief, you're not asking pyramid relief, all it is the location in the
Within
side
the side yard.
Yep.
Okay. This is Michael's.
So the barn that's there now is gonna stay. I was there today.
Yes.
And there's a pool behind the barn already?
Yeah, so the rear yard already has quite a bit of coverage, has the barn, a pool.
Sure.
The barn was kept as close to original as possible. It's just being kind of doubled as a pool house and storage. So the need for the one-car garage was still necessary.
Is that gonna be a drive-through garage?
No, but it does have doors on both sides so that if they do need to bring things back and forth and go to the garage, they can still do that. They're
To the
they're
barn,
active-
you mean,
Yeah, they're
yeah.
active watermen and cyclists, so they kind of need extra storage.
Are they in the new district? I wasn't able to check this property.
Are they new historical district?
Yes, and we went before them and got the property and the additions all reviewed. And they actually were part of the review process of separating the garage out.
Do you have anything from the Landmarks Board?
They have
We got approval and we got the
the original
initial
permit.
permit for the building, the
Can you
renovations.
submit that to the board?
Right.
It's
Sure.
a, it's a new
Including-
referral
Is that
for
the,
us.
you got a certificate of appropriateness, is that what you got?
Including
Yes.
for the garage?
Okay.
Yes, yeah, so they reviewed the whole thing and they
Yeah,
they
we'll need
understood
that.
that they were separated.
We'll need that as part of our,
Sure.
part of our file because, we work with each other and don't want.
Absolutely.
I don't see any drawings about the garage. Did
They were-
it
I have
come
some
in here?
here
Did
if
I
you need
miss
them.
it, or,
They were submitted, but here we have,
oh, maybe it's right here. Is this it?
Yes, probably.
Yeah, we do have some 11 by 17.
This real big thing?
we have some smaller manageable ones, if you like,
Okay.
which I think there's 3 copies there.
Okay. We could share that with-
Do you want to,
Stamped
No, I
ones.
think we have them for the.
Okay.
well,
Anybody else?
Mike has them.
Yeah, I think
Accessory
I gave
garage.
you 9 copies.
Okay,
okay, good.
okay.
Also, from the images, you'll see that it's heavily
What?
planted now, the existing.
It is,
It's-
yeah.
Sure.
And that
All
was
around.
part of the massing issue we wanted to, so viewed from the street, the house is very similar to what it's always been.
So they've answered my questions. You have any more questions?
No.
Does anybody else have any other questions before we go to the?
So you will submit the
audience.
approval from the Landmark
Yeah, I
Historical
have that.
District Board?
I'll
Okay.
hand it to you.
Can you just answer your questions not in the new historic district?
Oh, it's not, okay.
But we went,
landmark's something different, but not in the.
Oh,
district.
it's
So it's not in,
But we
it's
went
It's
not
not the
before
historic
the-
district, it was the landmark.
Yeah, because that's
the
on
house
Main
is
Street.
landmarked.
Yes.
yes.
The house
was
That's
different.
So-
19
Over 75 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
1910,
yeah.
so we went before the board and they
For the
viewed it,
house.
and they thought that the additions were appropriate.
So that was really just for the additions, it wasn't for the
Right,
garage.
you're not
Oh,
part of
alright.
the historic district,
No,
which
'cause
is
that's
mostly
Main,
along
so-
Main
yeah,
Street and
yeah.
Bridgehampton.
But we
Sorry,
will
no.
take that referral anyways, because that
Okay.
explains why they're not connecting it,
Okay.
which was Susan's question.
Right,
Okay.
right. Okay, good. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard?
Yes.
Are you an attorney?
No, I'm not.
May I swear you in?
Yes,
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Lawrence Dangel, 173 Maple Lane.
Okay.
My house,
Could you
Could
spell
you
your
spell your
last
last
name?
name?
Dangel.
Okay. Lawrence?
And as you can see from the survey, my house is right next to it, and it's, the proposed garage would be next to my property.
Okay.
And I'm objecting to the proposed garage on two grounds. One, that it is excessive, and two, that it is not at all in keeping with the neighborhood. There is, throughout Maple Lane, running from Butter Lane to Lumber Lane, there is not a single a situation where you have a house, a garage placed next to the house. They are all placed in the back. They either have a barn, which is no longer being used as a barn, but is used as a garage, or they have a garage. And you can see from the survey, my house has the garage way back there as well, right by the garage. I mean, by the barn. And so it's, there's not a single one that's like that in the whole neighborhood, along Maple Lane at least. And it's also excessive in that the previous owner used the barn as their garage when they wanted to use it. Most of the time, they would keep their cars on the other side of the house, and there is currently a gate and a driveway that is there, and if they needed to put in a garage, and I really don't know why it is necessary when they already have one, is that they could put it on the other side. The other side, the property to that side is currently, and I say currently, it's the last 20 years, is unoccupied. The owner is in, I think, Georgia, and, you know, it was willed to her. And the property behind it is the highway department.
Commercial, yeah, the highway department, right.
And so neither one would have an objection. Plus, there is a 6-foot stockade fence running the entire, that entire side of the property. And so I don't know why it wasn't proposed that the garage, if they really want another garage, to put it back here. Plus, I think that this all very, very busy with parking. There's, you know, 2 entrances now where there had only been one. And there's, you know, all this proposed driveway and parking, and then proposed driveway going back to the barn. and I don't see why it's all necessary. And I
You have
also
one more
wanted
minute,
to
sir.
show you.
Yeah, you'll have one more minute, please. We have a
have a-
3-minute limit, and
Okay.
we didn't start
And,
until after you were into it.
This is my house, a side view, and it would be, placed right here. And my house is right where the proposed garage is. So my wife and I
I see that.
will be, and we're full-time residents, by the way. The owners here are not. They're living in Stony Brook.
Okay,
The owner is here,
And-
if she would like to speak.
okay. Okay, can you wrap it up
Sure.
for us, please? Are you
You
done?
made- you-
That's pretty much it.
Understood. Understood.
Okay, do you want to respond?
Well, I do want to respond about the driveway. The existing barn needs access by firemen, foot traffic. So the argument that we shouldn't have the driveway there, you're already arguing that the driveway is there. So,
I'm not arguing that the driveway is there
no, but the
because it's
barn,
not
the
there.
barn is there.
The barn
So-
is there.
Which you are supposed to have access to. So now, we're assuming that the garage should be on the same side as it's always been on.
And the garage would interfere with that access. In other words,
It has a
whether you
complete
have
pass-through.
access,
Okay,
Going
we gotta let
from-
the applicant speak now. The board has
going
heard your
right-
objections, but
Excuse
now, you need to let the applicant speak now. Like, it's not between you
Oh,
two.
Yeah,
I thought
and you have to speak,
He
to- please speak
interrupted.
to
Speak to
us,
us.
not to each other.
So the garage has doors on both sides, so it's completely passable.
Okay.
As if it's a carport.
Okay. Well, you object, that's clear.
Yes.
We are hearing that. Is there anybody else who would?
Can I ask a question of the applicant? Have you considered any kind, or is there vegetation separating the two properties?
Oh, sure, it's heavily planted now.
Heavily, with evergreen?
Evergreens, the front is heavily planted. So in that sense, the side of a one-story garage, which is 9 feet tall, with a sloped shingle roof, would be the least impactful, I believe, to that side with the existing plantings along the side. We have tried very hard to keep it minimal in structure.
okay, that's not accurate.
Okay, well, okay. Is there anybody else who
Thank you,
wishes?
Mr. Dengel.
Yes.
Your comments have been noted and on record.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard on this application in the audience? Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application? Okay. All right, this is Michael. I would for sure require that there be a maintenance of the vegetation separating the properties. you know,
Agreed.
And we
Agreed.
need to, if we do approve this, it has to be included in the approval.
That would be fine.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would ask that if you saw any opportunity to address the neighbors' issues, and we can close the public hearing at this point. However, if you or the owner did speak to the neighbor and decided to make a modification, you could resubmit those before May 3rd, any modifications to us,
By May 3rd,
by May 3rd, yeah,
Okay.
before, preferably before.
yeah.
So that we could, so I propose we close the public hearing, leave it open for written submissions until May 3rd with a decision by May 16th.
Second.
But, and before we vote on that, I just want to stress what Michael said.
Oh,
It's
yes,
very-
we'll
It's very helpful
mitigate with it.
to talk to the neighbor, see what can be done. He's clearly concerned.
It's always a
and-
good
First we've
idea.
heard of that, so that's
Okay, if
absolutely
it's the
fine.
first you've heard of it, then I'm sure you'll have some
And that's
kind
not
of
uncommon.
a positive response to him. Okay. All
There's a
right.
lot going on there right now, too, and that's probably
Yeah.
disturbing. It's a work site.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it can be very disturbing to a neighbor.
Okay.
Sure.
So we're going to vote on this. Did I get a second?
I
Is that-
did.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Cudhill?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. Okay, so,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have time yet? Are these mine or yours? Is it yours?
Just goes
All right, item 9 on the agenda.
What? 16, 17.
is Megan Nikonowitz. 5 Lincoln Avenue in Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-293-2-6.
You gotta read it,
Yeah.
please.
Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code. 1, for a proposed one-family dwelling, 330-83K yards that references 330-11 Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations for a principal minimum side yard setback from 10 feet to 9.7 feet, and 330-84D Pyramid Law for an encroachment in the amount of 4,578 cubic feet, 1,012 cubic feet on the north side, and 3,566 cubic feet on the south side. And 2, for a proposed detached garage, 330-84D, for an encroachment in the amount of 1,212 cubic feet for a south encroachment on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction.
Are you both attorneys or just
I am
one?
an attorney.
I know, you are.
I'm not.
Okay, so please state your name and address.
Linda Riley, 235 Hampton Road, for the applicant.
Okay, and let me see. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address.
Alexander Nikonovitz, 5 Lincoln Avenue, Hampton Bays, New York, 11946.
Okay,
Can you just
Linda,
pass that to John, please?
do you want to,
Pardon me?
To John.
Linda Riley?
Linda Riley.
Oh, this is the applicant.
Alexander Nikonovitz?
Can you spell it? You need it spelled?
It's on the application.
Oh.
Right there.
That's it.
Actually, can spell it now.
Just put a lot of letters together and it's close enough.
Yeah.
That's that kind of night.
I'm sorry, can I?
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
don't interrupt the flow of the presentation, I'm just going to pass out now packets of letters from neighbors that I'll get to in a minute. I just didn't want to interrupt anything.
Okay.
He's got the original.
Okay.
Yeah, 4,000.
Already?
Okay, so, this is for 5 Lincoln Avenue in Hampton Bays. It is a very unusual lot. It has, it is only 14,850 square feet in area, in the R40 zone. And it is impacted, first of all, by wetlands. It faces Tiana Bay. It is on Tiana Bay. The front of the house faces Tiana Bay. And it has an extraordinarily long flagpole lot that literally wraps around neighboring properties and comes into the back.
Right. Doesn't come from Wilson, it comes from Lincoln,
Lincoln,
and it's
correct.
a
Yes.
sandy or pebbly
Yes.
road?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And
It's
that's-
not a paved road.
No, no.
It's a driveway. It's his driveway.
Oh,
It's
this,
a
that is a
flagpole
driveway,
lot.
yes.
It is a driveway.
Yes.
It is a flagpole lot, and it
Got it.
counts in that 14,000 square feet.
More like a hook instead of a
Exactly.
flagpole.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Unusual.
the flagpole strip itself is over 3,300 square feet in area. So, the lot itself, the main part of the lot is, closer to 10,000 square feet. And, of course, impacted by the fact that it's on the bay and on wetlands. So, it's also a non-conforming lot in lot width. The required lot width for the R40 zone is 150 feet. So and this is only 55 feet wide where it is on the bay side, the lot, where the proposed house is going to be. And I'm going to help you understand the survey. There's a lot of stuff on this survey, I realize, because we had to go through the wetlands business also. So in the back of the house, where that is, the lot itself is only 65 feet wide there. So to get the required setbacks in on a lot that is that narrow and fronting on Tiana Bay was extremely, a real challenge. And the Nikonovitz family worked hard to accomplish that. It is a family. there's a wife and a child, one child in the audience right now. This is going to be their home. They're year-round residents. They live here in Hampton Bays. They live here now. They're in their father's house
Yes.
while this happens.
Hopefully not for too much longer.
He probably says the same.
Yeah, every day.
So, obviously, we had to observe some wetland setbacks that was took a long time with the Conservation Board and DEC to get those permits. There is a house here. It's difficult to see on the survey. It's a dotted line that's down. It's only.
It's like right in the water
It
practically.
is
8
literally,
feet.
yes.
I know, it just
8
looks
feet.
like, when you look at the picture, it looks like it's right in the water.
Yeah, it's 8 feet from Tiana Bay, from the water. And so, for complying with wetlands to the greatest extent possible, it was moved back. The house, by the way, was very severely impacted by Superstorm Sandy. It is not habitable, and it hasn't been habitable since Sandy. So their plan is to basically take down that bungalow, which is falling down anyway, and rebuild a modest one-family house where you see it's shaped like a rectangle. You can see it on the survey. All of these properties around here are part of a subdivision that was done in 1966. You could see it here. There's this lot, this lot, this lot, all part of a subdivision. This is his father's house, right next door. So his father's house is also on Tiana Bay, and it is, actually, this is north, this is south, and his father's house is to the south. And as you can see, when it was subdivided, these bungalows, which were all part of a family compound, if you will, the subdivision was sort of wrapped around the bungalows in 1966. You know, one for Aunt Mary, one for Uncle Pete, that's exactly what happened with these bungalows. So, there was a variance granted for a number of things, including side yard setback, and including for, this road, if you will, which is not a road, it's part of the lot, and area variances too. So I'm gonna deal with the simplest, I think, the simplest request for relief first, which is that we need a side yard variance for the house from the south side. Now, we meet the setbacks on the north side, which is 20 feet, because we get the relief under 330-83K for the wetlands. So that's 20 feet, and my client thought it was very important to maximize the setback on that side, because there is another house, a neighbor's house, the Ewells, which is right on the other side of the property, about at a 3-foot setback. And you have a letter here from the Ewells. Actually, it's part of what I passed around, saying that they are all in favor of this application. In any event, they maximize the setback there because it's so close to the other house, and looked to put it closer to the south property line, which imposes on his father. It's a vacant lot there. It's
the back lawn.
The house is set way back here. So that's just lawn area, it's open space, and it'll have the least impact on anybody. More than that.
And that's the 9.7.
Yes. Now, the 9.7-foot setback that we're looking for from the south, by the way, is um, 9.7 setback, right. It is greater than the existing setback from the bungalow on the south side. And when the variance was granted in 1966, it allowed for it said 3 feet from the southerly side. I think that was a mistake, because actually it was 3 feet on the northerly side, and it was actually 7.2 feet from the southerly lot line. But although it said in the variance that it had already been granted for 3 feet, I think they meant 7.2 feet. Either way, there was a variance granted in '66 for a lesser setback than what we're now asking for, and it's only 0.3.
Right,
feet
10 is,
anyway,
10 is
so-
required, and you're asking for 9.7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that's one variance that we're asking for. The other variance relief that we need, and it's necessitated by the unique shape of the lot and the conditions in the area, both environmental and otherwise. And we are in a flood zone, so we have that to deal with also. We need to have some pyramid relief for the house. Now, again, they try to minimize that to the extent possible in terms of the impact that it would have on neighbors by, keeping 20 feet back from the nearest neighboring house. Although there'll still be some pyramid relief on the north side. I'll go over the numbers in a minute, but it's not as great as the pyramid relief that's required on the south side. But once again, the south side is close to an empty lawn that belongs to his father, and it is going to continue staying in the family probably for a very, very long time. The numbers here are, the house it goes into the sky plane by 4,578 cubic feet, or 310 square feet. So we understand probably more than you are used to granting. And we are asking you to take into consideration the unusual factors that are present here. It's a 2-story house that we're asking for. We submitted the plans with it. It has basically one open room on the first floor, living room, dining room, kitchen. And the first floor is 1,200 square feet with an open deck off the front. By front, I mean facing the water. But it's a relatively small deck. And then on the second floor, it's 3 bedrooms. So altogether, it's just over 2,400 square feet altogether, but it is a growing family and they live there full-time. I also have to point out that there's no basement allowed because of the flood zone. There's no other, for a growing family, it's I think a relatively modest house, and they've tried hard to keep the roofs as low as possible. So in addition to that, they also need, let me go through the actual numbers on each side. On the north side, all we're asking for on the house is 1,012 cubic feet. And again, the Ewells, who are the neighbors that are right next door there, have submitted a letter in agreement here. On the south side, which is facing the lawn, that's where the 3,566 cubic feet is. But again, that is a huge lot. The existing house is way back. There is literally nothing on the entire width of the lot across from the house.
Excuse me, let me just ask, so what was the reasoning for putting it closer to the southern lot line?
Because their family owns, this this is sort of where the structures are situated. The family lives here. And this is where his house is. Am I pointing it
Oh,
right?
sorry.
No, sorry.
Where your top finger is where his house is.
His house is right here.
Right, yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
I
and
I
it's-
visited the property, so I know what it looked, I know the lay of
Okay,
the
and the
land.
south side,
Yeah.
the reason for putting it closer to the south side was because it's nothing but open lawn and it affects a family property. It's
Okay.
not any other.
But there really isn't much to the north side either.
Well,
No, there's
If I
20
may.
feet. Oh, there isn't now, but there will be 20 feet. It'll be on the north side?
Yes, to the to the northern side of this piece of the property, there's,
Right.
if I remember correctly.
there's the neighboring house.
There's the
Yes,
neighboring
but that's
house.
further down.
Well, because
There's two houses, there's two lots there.
Because there's a lot that's not built on in between that and
That's
the,
right.
and the.
Right.
There is,
No,
West.
there's a
there's
house
another
there.
house there too.
Yeah.
And that
It's
neighbor
in the
also
trees.
said he had no problem with it. There's a house right down on Tiana.
What is that structure that straddles the lot line?
That is the neighbor's house, that's the Ewell's house. These things off of the computer don't come out exactly right.
Right.
It looks like it straddles the lot line. Actually, it's at a 3-foot setback from the lot line. That is the Ewell's house.
7 Lincoln.
7 Lincoln, that's exactly right.
Do they have this picture, Linda, where they could see partial out there? This is the Yule's house on our survey.
Right.
Right.
If I could just show you, on the survey, right here, you can see the partial of this house. This is our next door neighbor right here.
Okay.
It's cozy
So
community.
that's why
Yeah,
we made the
it's
attempt to give as much
Mhm.
room between our neighboring house and our house, being that this was completely empty.
Right. But other than that consideration, there's no feature that prevents you from moving the house a little bit north? There's no like septic, anything like that, correct?
No, I mean, there is a septic that's going, but it's not going on, it's going on the north side, but it's going further toward the
Right.
back,
Well,
further toward the
I believe the
east.
dry well also that were
And the
required
dry
for
well.
the
Yeah,
runoff.
there's a dry well there.
Yeah.
So we had to do a lot of work to get nitrogen loading systems in there too. So all of this stuff back here, right near the end of the driveway, is all required septic, drainage.
A shallow leaching field.
Yeah,
Of course. On the water.
pardon me?
We're on the water.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
right. So, and we have those permits. Now, the proposed garage is the last thing that I have to address. And that meets, all the setbacks. It also meets now, the, maximum rear yard coverage, since you changed the law. But it does conform in all of that. It is a 2-car garage, and it is proposed to be a 2-car garage because they have 2 cars. It's two-car family, husband and a wife. And it's only a 1-story garage, but there is a loft area proposed over the garage space.
Will that
simply
be
a loft.
habitable space?
No, no. It's gonna be storage only.
Good.
It's only a loft, it'll be open, it won't be finished, it's for storage.
Basically, we don't have a basement or an attic, Christmas
Correct.
decorations, all the stuff that you collect over the
Exactly.
years.
And so the garage needs some pyramid relief, and once again, to have some like headway for the loft, they do have a gable coming out one end of the garage, but they put the gable on the side that faces south. So it faces their house, their
Eastland.
east, I'm sorry. I always think it's south to Tiana Bay because but it's east, and facing their house, in other words. So that gable faces them and nobody else. There is some pyramid relief required for the garage. It is very much concentrated on and I've submitted these, most of it that's required is for the south elevation, which again faces his family's property, the open lawn.
How much is that? It's the
So,
12,000,
the total-
12?
Pardon me?
Is it
The total
1,212?
is 1,212. Right. There's a bit that is required from the east side. And it's just sort of the side of the gable.
West side.
Pardon me?
I think that's the west side.
Isn't
West
it?
elevation.
Oh, right, this is east, right, west elevation. It's right here.
What's the height of the garage?
The height of the garage is 18 feet. Oh, wait a minute. It depends on where you measured from, because the ground.
It's 20
It's
feet
a
on one
sloping
end.
elevation.
It's a
Yeah.
sloping
Yeah.
elevation. It goes up toward the back.
And
It goes
how-
up a lot. So the height of the garage, it's 18 feet, but it's 20 feet from natural grade
see.
if you look at it at the
So what are
one
the
end.
heights of the ceilings?
8 feet?
8 feet.
8 feet.
Is that in the house? Is that what you're asking?
And the house, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the height of the ceilings in the house?
8 feet.
Both floors?
Yes.
I don't, well, the loft is, it's got gables. I don't know if it's.
No, but I mean, the second story is 8 feet and the first floor
You're not
is-
talking
Oh,
about the
yeah, on the
garage
second-
now, you're talking
yeah.
about the house.
I'm
Yes.
talking about the house.
Yes.
Okay, let's move along here.
What flood zone are you located in?
Oops, sorry.
What was it, sorry?
What flood zone? Like AE what?
Yeah, I thought
AE
it was-
11, I think it was, but I'm gonna pull out the application.
I believe it's elevation 11, yeah.
EL10.
No, it's 11 now.
Oh, okay.
It's 11 now.
On here it says L10.
It says
but-
AE 10 and AE 9.
Okay.
Okay.
AE1.
And it looks like
Actually, I
you've,
think it's
you've
10
raised
10
the
plus one.
house by 6 feet towards the bay.
9 and 10, you're right. It's AE 9
In order
and
to
10.
achieve the
Right,
elevation, yeah.
yeah. So it was about 6 feet at the bay side and,
Yeah, about 5, little under 6 feet, yes,
Yeah.
correct, at the base side, and then because of the sloping property, I
about
believe it's only.
5 at the western side.
That's
Yes.
why you got the pyramid. 'cause of the
Yeah.
pyramid.
You all good swimmers?
We got life jackets.
Okay, is there anything else you want to add before we ask questions and open up to the audience?
I welcome your questions.
Okay, John, do you want to?
I don't have any questions. I think we've covered a lot tonight. You know, I went to the property. It's really strangely shaped. It feels tighter than I think it really is when you're standing there. And the pyramid relief concerned me in the first instance, but it is in the flood zone and has to be elevated. So there's the rub, you know? I would be willing to approve this project.
I agree with John.
Michael?
Yes, it's the elevation that makes that a little more palatable. And if you look up and down the coast of that area there, it's really in character with a number of properties that is in there along the bay.
Yep.
But it's a lot of house for that very small property and a lot of relief. But let's hear what
But it,
others have to
the
say.
total relief is 5,000 something, right?
Well, that includes the garage.
Yes, no, I
Yeah.
mean, the
Yeah.
total for the property in
Yes.
terms of pyramid relief,
Yes.
which is very considerable and not something that we normally would take in, you know,
Well, we
take
had,
with,
we had
favorably.
discussions about it. And
Yeah.
I
Is
would-
there any discussions about reducing it in any way or not? Or you just
Sure.
wedded to?
Well,
Yeah, sure.
Of course, we've spoken about it, obviously, asking for less is easier, but again, just trying to get the things we, I hate to say like, but need as a family, especially a growing family, to have a comfortable house that we hope is a long-term house. Obviously, we're part of the community, expect to be for a long time. We'd like it to be a house that we don't grow out of and have to leave someday.
You do have your wetlands permits too, right?
Yes.
Wetlands and
Usually, Marty
conservation.
will ask them to go up instead of out, right? Like,
We-
they'll say you'd rather see a two-story house than a larger one-story house.
So I think
We've-
it's
we've had a lot of
definitely an
conversations with
improvement
Marty.
from the house that's right in the water.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, I'm,
And it's also
happy.
modest in terms of what is being asked. I mean, we've had some crazy applications where people want to put in all kinds of features that are luxuries and not necessities. I think 3 bedrooms is not a far stretch for a growing family.
And, it's very nice that you try to accommodate your neighbor and try to,
Absolutely.
put some of the stuff on to your father's side.
It just seemed to make sense, again, for
Yeah.
everybody's
Well,
privacy concerns.
And also
to
because
try
it's an
and-
open field, like you said, so it's not like you're infringing on
Exactly.
anybody's view or airspace or sun or whatever it is, so, yeah. Okay, so is there anyone in the audience?
What I would love to know, and it's nothing that I would request in a written submission right now, but on applications like these, I would love to know, what would the pyramid relief be without the raising?
Right.
As opposed to what's being asked? That would be an interesting
10
thing to
feet
say.
lower, yeah.
Yeah, if it were 10 feet lower, it would certainly make.
It would make a considerable amount of
Huge
difference.
Huge, yeah. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on the application of 5 Lincoln Avenue?
If you'd like to, you could come up to the podium.
Hi, are you an attorney?
No, I am not.
Are you both going to speak?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to swear you both in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Patricia Mullen, and I am the owner of 6 Wilson Avenue that tucks into their property.
6 Wilson.
Mhm.
Are you going to speak as well, sir?
Yes.
And what's your name?
My name is James Schneider.
Please get to the microphone up there here.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is James Schneider.
And your address?
James, what's your address?
26 Arbor Lane, Hampton Bays, New York.
Okay. Okay, so you're an adjoining neighbor?
Yes.
Okay, Patricia? Let's hear what you
So
have to say.
these neighbors said that they came to the neighbors to discuss this. I was never approached. Their house that they're wanting to build is well over what they would need, what they want. Like, if they didn't want a variance, I think they were allowed 900 or 1,000 square feet. So they're more than doubling the size of the house. It would be blocking the view from my house. What else is it doing? Oh, the garage would be right on top of my property. I don't think it's necessary to put a 2-car garage there. 1 car would be more than suffice. It would have been nice if they came to me and asked me how I felt about this build. I had told them a long time ago that I would sign a variance for them, but they've been so unkind to me when I was trying to do my own house, and made my life a living miserable, where I ended up in the hospital a couple of times because of stress. They did falsified information to the building department and had stop work orders, and one of them I had to go to court for, but at the same time, I had an event for my husband who died in the line of duty, so I had to miss the court date, but I sent a letter. They went to the building department and had Mr. McDermott come down to my house, and I showed him the letter that was approved to postpone my hearing. So they've been doing nothing but making my life a living hell for 2 years for the house. Now, I built my house, didn't need a variance. I stayed under everything legally. All my permits have been posted, done nothing to need a variance.
Did you not get a mailing?
Yes, I did get a mailing, it's right here.
Okay.
So I'm against this because a lot of their house will be blocking the view of my own home.
Is your house at a higher elevation?
It is a higher elevation.
And you're number 6 Wilson, did you
6
say?
Wilson.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's behind. She's
I'm
to the.
behind them.
Yeah, she's
Understood.
behind.
East.
To the east.
Yeah, to the east.
And I believe the reason why the Newells gave them that letter is because they've been looking at a dilapidated cottage for so many years. They would do anything to get rid of it.
Well, I don't think we can
can't-
speculate as to
yeah,
somebody's
you can't speculate about it.
intentions.
Yeah.
They gave a nice letter.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to make your
Yeah, well,
your
my
statement?
concern is, I did offer day one to help assist with this. When we first started our project 2 years, a little over 2 years ago, I gave them my phone number, I said, whatever you need, I'll help, and it turned into a nightmare. From the day I put the footings in, they complained that it was too close to the property line, and they were down at the building department. I had I was legal. I had everything posted. They never even read the post. At one point, Sean McDermott came down and said, Jen, what are you doing? There's no, I'm like, Sean, it's posted. It's right there.
All the permits.
All the permits. And they pulled it up on his computer, he goes, oh, yeah.
Okay.
But this was nonstop.
Okay.
But you object to their,
I would love to have worked together with them, as, you know, since we were building, they're building, it'd be great to build a community together, but it was completely opposite. It was tedious and torturous and.
Right, sir, but
police-
other than that, other than your interpersonal relationship with these people, do you have any
Yes.
specific, any specific objection to any feature of the application?
The height, number one, I mean, you have restrictions in place for a reason. I met every restriction that was placed on our property to build this house.
Well, one issue that we have here is that we're not, this application is not seeking a height variance.
Right, the height is appropriate.
The height is within the zoning code, so we're not here, we don't have
It's not-
jurisdiction over the height.
It's not conforming to the pyramid law.
It's not conforming to the
Pyramid,
pyramid
right.
law, but that's different from height.
Right.
Okay. Well,
Height
that's my
is
concern. No, I
how
understand.
tall the building is, pyramid is how much does it go out of the
Right.
pyramid.
No, I
That's
understand.
it. Yeah. So,
That's been my concern.
okay,
Just looking at the garbage too, it'd be nice to get it cleaned up, so.
okay.
Okay.
I'm sure they're gonna
anything
do that.
anything else? Oh, I'm sorry, this is yours.
Would you like to respond?
Sure. First, I'd like to add that the house is for sale, so they probably will not be living there for very long. It has been for sale since substantial completion, and if you look on Zillow right now, it actually says pending, a pending sale. So I think that they probably do not have to worry about my house in the future. Secondly, the complaints that were lodged to the building department were that they tried to put up a 4-foot retaining wall right on the property line in order to raise their property by 4 feet against my property. And the other thing that I went to the building department was that they have now built a pool 6 feet from the property line, of which they do not have a variance for.
Understood, but all of these issues are
Not
not
for us.
relevant to
I
this
understand that.
application.
I just wanted to respond
I know,
to
I
that.
know, I
and
understand.
I'm not the big bad neighbor
understand.
that's been trying
Okay.
to keep their
Prefer-
project from being built.
Prefer when
Yeah.
when neighbors get
Well,
along.
Absolutely, and I do
do this
too.
here.
Except when you start
Alex, you
doing
never
things.
text me or called me. I
I
gave
know.
you my number.
But
on
now
the
I
radio.
gotta do
I don't need your help, Jim.
Need to protect my
follow the
future
city.
owner. We want to protect them and making sure that
Okay.
they have the most.
Thank you.
Thank you for
house.
Thank you for your
Well,
comments.
thank you very much.
Is
They
there
are noted and
anybody,
on record.
anybody
Thank
else
you.
in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes?
Somebody's coming.
Somebody's
Oh.
coming.
Oh,
Someone else
okay.
would like to speak?
Okay, come on.
Don't take it personal.
All right, wait,
Long
before you
story.
say anything, are you attorneys?
No,
All
we're
right, then I need to swear you in.
You look like TV attorneys to me.
All right, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, we do.
Okay, please state your names and addresses.
My name is Clifford Palmer. I live at 4 Wilson Avenue, Hampton Bays, adjacent to this property.
You don't have to be that close to the microphone.
Okay, and your name?
Susan Palmer, this is my father, and my address is 156 Long Neck Boulevard in Flanders. But this house is our family house, and my grandfather built the house on Wilson Avenue. I'll speak first, I'm just winging this, honestly. We have had nothing but hostile problems with this family for many, many years. I mean, my sister's wedding,
Ma'am, none of this is relevant to this application. I
Okay, let me just
apologize,
say
but
that-
we
I'll
really
say
don't
this
have the
then.
time for
Okay.
interpersonal
Okay.
petty
I have a lot of
problems.
sentiment. We used to rent the cottages below, including the one that's been condemned for over 10 years. And it's been there, you know, it's supposed to have been knocked down many years ago, and it's been an eyesore. Thrilled that it's finally being taken down, that's the good thing. I am concerned again about our view. I think it may affect our view at the house. We are also up
Well, we
on
have
next
no,
door.
like we just said,
The height.
they're not asking for height variance, which we generally do not approve anyway. So that's kind of out the
So
window.
the height, okay.
Yeah, there's
You
no
know,
height variance being
It
asked
just
for.
seems monstrous to put on, down there, because it was a tiny little cottage. I myself have stayed in that cottage
Yeah.
over the years. It was a small, they were all little, stayed in all the cottages, they were small. And this is putting in, you know, a very large house with a two-car garage. It just seems excessive and completely unexpected. I'm concerned that it will affect, you know, our view from the house.
You're at 4 Wilson, right?
Yes.
You're at 4 Wilson.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Keith, I interrupted.
How many bedrooms do you have?
Expect that.
We have 3.
You have 3? Okay.
The last time.
Mr. Palmer, do you wish to say anything? You
My
have
daughter
3
said-
minutes.
I think my daughter said, mostly said
Okay.
most of it. I just have a lot of questions on all of this, the square footage. I've not seen any diagrams, anything where the house on the property is gonna be placed. I've seen nothing except a notice to appear tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, we
So
have no
you, because
letters.
you didn't get a notification because you're not an adjacent.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, you are? didn't
They
you?
actually
Yes, I
are,
am.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
you
of the
got a
way that.
notification.
I have about, I
Yeah.
don't know, 400 feet of.
Okay. Did you get a notification?
I got a notification, but I have nothing to show
Okay.
what's being put on the property,
Okay.
except wording that most people, laymen, would not understand at
Well,
all.
what you can do is all of you can talk in the hallway and you can share information after this hearing. That would be great.
It's just coming in here, not knowing anything about the layout of the property.
It's the nature
really-
of the,
Right.
It's
It's
the
the
nature
nature
of
of
the
direct
beast.
neighbor, not to have any
It
knowledge.
always makes you anxious, right?
Is the
when
size
you
of this
don't know.
house, is the size of this house burden to the square footage of property? Is it based on square footage?
Oh, you mean coverage?
Coverage.
So-
The coverage is very
How
low.
many square feet of property owned can you put, you can only put a house?
There's a coverage
So,
issue.
to answer that,
Yes,
there's
please.
There's no floor area ratio
Ratio,
in the town
right.
as it relates to the size of a property and how much square footage. We do it based on coverage.
We do
Because I was
meet the
just wondering
coverage.
about square footage, because I have a question mark about property along the north side of the property, because I know somebody else, I have a document here showing that easement also belongs to the house of the lady that was just speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, no, we don't have what's called a floor area ratio, except 15,000, I think, is the largest house, but you're not gonna get a 15,000.
But the easement,
Yeah,
There is no easement.
There's no easement.
There's no
There's-
easement.
where's their driveway coming into the
okay.
property then?
Well, no, that's a different story.
That's not an easement.
Okay.
I think that if you had an opportunity to, as neighbors, at some point in time, you could speak about this and hopefully come to,
But just so that you know, the proposed lot coverage with this house is 17% and they're allowed 20. So it's under the proposed.
Yeah, it's less.
Right.
So,
Thank you very
um,
much.
Thank you for
You're
your
at 4
time.
Wilson
thanks
Drive,
for your
sir?
comments.
Yes,
And that house is for sale right now, too?
no,
No,
no.
Oh,
It
what was
will
that?
Wilson
be
Avenue,
not
not Wilson Drive.
There is a drive. It's
Or Wilson.
So what's up, John?
Okay.
now
Anybody
wait,
else?
is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application?
No one on Zoom.
Okay, John.
Okay, I move to close the public hearing, set it down for written submissions by May 3rd with the decision by May 16th.
Second,
Mr. Leonard,
Aye.
Mr. Daly,
aye.
Mr. Tuthill,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
If any of you who are here want to send any letters in or anything in writing, you're welcome to send it to our office for us to look at before our final decision.
What's the date by?
May
By
3rd. May 3rd.
And if I could just say
Yeah.
one more thing.
Yeah.
I did get a call from
Gotta
one
read
neighbor
over
who's
the
not here
advertising.
tonight, who told me he was in favor of it, and I could say that at the hearing.
We
but-
just
The
closed
hearing's
it.
been, this has been closed.
Oh, okay, never
So
mind.
it
All right,
can't go on
I'll-
the
You can do a
record.
written
I'll go out in
submission.
the- I'll
You
go
can
out in
send
the
it on a
hallway and
record.
talk to him.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
I recommend you talk to your neighbors. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all we're going to say.
Thank
A
you very
word
much.
from a very wise man.
Yeah. Item 10 on
Wise
the
guy.
agenda is Martha Chabla, 37 Fordham Drive in Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-264-5-19. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the Town Code to legalize a detached garage constructed without the benefit of a building permit. 330-5 definitions, accessory use, building or structure.
Or are they on Zoom?
A determination as to whether or not the proposed accessory building is a subordinate or incidental to the principal building because of its size and proportion to the main dwelling and its use. 330-11, Residence District's Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory side yard setback of 5.6 feet, where a maximum of 10 feet is required. And 330-84D, pyramid height for a pyramid encroachment on the north side of the property of 6.47 cubic feet and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Can you pass this, Susan?
Are you an attorney?
No.
Okay, let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
Edwin Alvarado, 36, Farm Hub Road,
26.
36.
36.
Yes.
36 Fordham Road.
Yes.
And this is, we're talking about 37.
37.
37, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm nervous about all.
Don't worry about, don't be nervous.
Well, you
I
have
never
to
hear
have to be
something like
nervous
that
of
in my
that
life.
guy over there, because he's, do you need a spelling or anything?
Like me?
You're the tough one.
Can you spell it?
Alvarado.
Good reputation to have.
Alvarado.
Okay, Mr.
So you
Alvarado,
can
do you want
have
to
it real
tell us
cool.
about the application?
Oh, yeah. We bought the house last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, we bought it like a single family, but after we bought it, we find it because we want to do a little renovation inside, in the interior. We come to the town to asking a building permit. Then we find in, the garage is like, I think so too close to the property line.
Mm-hmm.
So then it start our trouble, so we cannot find the building permit. And we try and look into legalize first the property to get it a building permit to.
So when you bought the house, the garage was already there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Prior owner problem.
Okay, and one of the things that we're looking at here is
Bad lawyer.
one of the things is that we're looking at whether the garage is what the size of the garage is versus the size of the principal dwelling.
Besides the garage is, 3-car garage, yeah.
I know, but do you have the square footage?
You have a drawing or something?
No, I don't bring with me because I pay somebody to help me with this thing, but I have a bad luck, he no help me really, so.
Oh, all right, okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's look and see.
It says 450 square feet.
Oh, yeah, I don't have,
That's it?
I thought that was a previous, okay, I didn't bring that one with me.
Okay, let's look. The as-built garage is, does it say? That's the pyramid encroachment.
How, not mu, 99,
No, it's 9.6, it's not. That's the square footage for the pyramid.
Okay, and wasn't there? Yeah.
I went to the property.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem with the setback. I think what the concern is the size of the garage versus, as an accessory structure, can only be 25% the size of the main house. And it clearly is over that. And I think we have to make a calculation as to what that difference is.
Okay.
So, I mean, I looked at the setback, there, it's very vegetated on that side.
We bring extra trees in there.
Very nicely vegetated, and in fact, the property is well maintained, it looks lovely, the garage is
thank you.
lovely. But, you know, the problem is the size of the garage versus the size of the principal building.
right.
And we need to get the square footage of those, because it shouldn't be as large as it is. So, I don't know how you want to handle that.
I'm open to whatever you.
Well,
wanna
is
do.
there somebody that you have that you could ask them, like a professional, like an architect or somebody
He
to?
tried that once, yeah.
Yeah, the same guy.
Well-
He charged me $4,000 to move here.
Okay, yeah, look, I'm very sympathetic to that, but where is it?
Isn't it the foundation on the plan? Is that, am I reading it wrong?
You're looking at this, the garage, right?
Yeah.
What's the main house?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that's right. That's right, you don't know.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
What are you getting at?
No,
What's your
I'm
point?
saying that we, the size, I mean, you know.
Oh, I
um,
see. You were, because I thought you were saying the size of the
No, no, no. I mean,
garage.
what we have to do is we would have to calculate what the square footage is on this, on our own, but we need a professional to provide that.
You need other set of plans for the house.
House and the garage, because
Right.
the garage can only be a certain percentage
Right.
of the house.
Of the size of the house.
And part of what you're asking for is for us to allow you to have a larger garage than you're entitled to have. And in order to consider that, we have to know what the size is.
You bought it like this, right?
I'm sorry?
Did you buy it with this house, with this garage, or
Yeah,
did you
the whole
purchase?
thing. No.
You built it.
No,
It
we
was
not
built.
built in the garage.
It was
no.
built.
It was already like that.
Yeah. When did you buy it? Just last year?
Last year on March.
Did you get a new survey when you bought it?
No, the bank doing everything. We just sign it. That's it.
Well, I like that you submitted a estimate for the cost of demolition.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, where was that?
So, yeah, so
41
whoever
about
helped him did
$41,000.
help him, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I didn't see that.
Just so the board knows, the garage is roughly 803 square feet. I don't have
Oh,
floor
okay.
plans to work on, just look at this as just an estimate, so.
Yes,
you're
right,
gonna
right.
get the real numbers. Looking at around 2,400 square feet for the house, you're looking around 30.
Around
30%,
33,
somewhere
okay.
between 30, 33.
We just need,
Approximately,
we need
you know.
some.
But we
those
need
numbers
to,
put
yeah.
into-
Yeah, we need- I'm just
So
trying
what
to
we're
get
saying
an
is,
idea of what-
it doesn't look like it's a really bad situation, but we need to get the proper figures.
Yeah,
And we
I
need
can
to have
have that.
professionally provided so that we know exactly what we'll be considering.
Okay.
So if it's, you know, if it's supposed to be 25 and it's 30, it may not be so bad, but we need to know, you know,
Yeah, from the
the
architect,
numbers, right,
the
from
square
from
footage.
an architect or somebody else, I mean, you know, I
Yeah,
don't
I can get
surveyor or
it.
whatever,
Engineer,
but,
survey.
what?
Who put that plan together, who put the package together for him?
Thomas Trafaro? Who's that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the architect?
Yes, he is the architect.
And he didn't come tonight?
No.
Okay, is he still in your, is he still
Still
working
works
with
for you?
you or not?
Not really for this because he not swap, so.
He left you hanging
Right.
like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Well, there's plenty of good local architects that can
yeah,
help.
yeah, yeah.
Kevin Springer,
Yeah, so basically
Well,
I
then it
needed
could-
set a plan from the architect and.
Pardon me? Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yes, so what we need is certified,
Set plan.
certified documents that show us exactly what the size is that we would be
of the garage.
of the garage. So
Of
that
the
we,
garage.
and of the principal house, so that we could compare it and see what the difference is. And, but, and I'm the lead on this, I don't have a problem with the setback.
What?
Does anybody on the board have a problem with
No.
the setback? And given that it may not be a bad situation with the garage, you may be okay, but we need to get the information.
Okay, but then that no means I have to make my house bigger, right? To
No.
have something like
Well,
that,
let's see what the figures
We
show.
need to see the right
Show
square
the
footage
size.
of the
Okay.
Just say
garage.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't appear that way right
It
now.
doesn't appear that
It doesn't
way,
look like-
based on what our planning associate has been telling us, but we don't know for sure.
Okay.
And when we see that, then we'll be able to advise you better in terms of how to go about it.
Okay.
I mean, there are other ways to do it, like attach the garage to the house.
Oh,
I
no.
mean, that's the other thing. All right, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Pick it up, move it over.
Yeah,
Attach it to the
It's
house.
really a well-maintained
Thank you.
property. It looks lovely. It really is
They
very
really clean
nice.
it up a lot.
Yes, no, it really is lovely. Okay,
So do you
so,
want to close it for written submissions?
yes, I'm going to see, is anyone in the audience here on the application of 37 Fordham Drive, Hampton Bays? Is there anyone on Zoom?
I'd like to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Helen, please say something. Speak up, Helen. It's, you're,
It's a comment.
okay.
I don't know if the gentleman has a copy of the comment. Marjorie's comment. She does say, "It shall be noted that the denied building permit application 847.
Right, I saw that too.
Happened is a mystery.
Well, it was the,
I did go visit this location, and I did find this garage to be very big compared to the house. I said, I have a concern about the size of the garage. I know it costs a lot to take the garage down, or maybe to move it from a 3-car garage, somebody could make it into a 2-car garage. I don't, this gentleman, I think, should avail himself of services of somebody who can help him come up with the correct numbers, and then have some information to give us about what can be done if that percentage is too large. I just wanted, maybe the gentleman can get a copy of the report from Marjorie, if he doesn't already have it.
have you received this report from the building department?
No.
Okay, well then we should make sure he gets a copy of that, Candace, okay? Okay, because she says, you know, again, this wasn't you, this is the previous owner.
Okay.
They had a permit for 400 some square feet, they built something that was
They
800.
built it twice the size.
Excuse me, they didn't have a permit. They applied for a permit, and it was denied. That's my reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the original application said 400, and it ended up being 800. So, all right, let's see if we can't get some more information from you.
Okay.
And then we can deal with the situation then.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so when do you think you can come back with that information?
Tomorrow's Friday, I'm going to visit other architect to get the plans.
No, well, you know, we have dates, that, you know.
We meet twice a month.
Yeah, we only meet twice a month, but you know.
May is fine to me, so whatever the time.
Would you,
May 16th?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Candace, is there anything else you want to say about this, or no? No. Okay, so, all right, so why don't we adjourn this till May 16th? And at that point, you'll come back, and, you know, if you've got material before then, please get it to us as soon as possible,
Yes,
because then we can
absolutely.
review it before the meeting.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay, May 16th.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Candace can give you a copy of that thing from the
All
building.
right, sure.
So many more applications. We got a lot left.
Item 11 on the agenda, 40 Ocean View Drive LLC. 40 Ocean View Drive, Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-271-1-44. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the Town Code 330-77G. Placement of accessory building structures and uses in residence districts for proposed air conditioner units and pool equipment to be located 2 feet from the easterly property line where 10 feet is required on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Just wait 1 second, because I gotta look at the receipt. I'm sorry, the board has jurisdiction.
Thank you. I think we swore you in the last time.
No, we have- It's a public
Okay,
hearing.
so, but just state, for the record, just state your name and address again.
Ron Talley, architect, agent for the owner for the Ocean View LLC.
Okay. So we have a revised
Yes.
application. You want to tell us about it?
This is another. We have original surveys. I only received 2 copies from the surveyor. If you recall, last time we were asking for relief on the west side. After looking at the property, I think you also visited the property.
I did, and
Yes.
they were giving me a hard time about
You
looking at
know,
the
there were
property.
Safety reasons.
I understand.
We have 2 new surveys from Nate Corwin that shows the proposed locations. I think you have the smaller version. I would like to just present this to the board. Actually,
So
I have
you've-
3 copies.
You've switched it to the east side.
We've moved them to the east side, correct.
Right, and lined them up with the equipment, the condenser units for the attached property, the adjoining property.
Correct, correct. I'm not sure about that.
Give that to Katie.
I looked, and
Oh,
they're
you-
close,
yeah, okay,
yeah. It's,
okay.
I assume it's over there. Their unit, their air conditioning unit is over in that area.
Comments here, but anyway.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so that's that for the application.
Okay. So this is a very narrow lot.
Mm-hmm, of course.
And it's a long, narrow building.
Mm-hmm.
They all seem to be pretty long and narrow in that
Right.
area. Beautiful, beautiful area, absolutely gorgeous.
Mhm.
And, I think what you said is that there really isn't any other place to put the pool
Right.
equipment and the condenser units. Now, how far is the house on the adjoining property from your property line? Do you
On
know?
that side?
Yeah.
11.7 feet.
No,
and
that's your, oh.
9.8 feet. A house is not precisely parallel to the property
Yeah,
line,
no,
so
no, I didn't mean your house. I meant the one next door, the neighbor's house.
I don't have that
know.
information, no, I'm sorry.
It's not right on top of the line, but it's not too
If I
far
had to
away. But
take
again,
a
they're
guess, I mean,
narrow.
the
They're
gentleman's
narrow.
here.
You're talking about the one on the
Yeah,
east or
on
the
the
west?
On the east. This is where he wants to put them.
Yeah, did we get a new survey
Is
with
it
the?
on the west?
with
Wait
the
a second. Did you
Units on the correct side? 'Cause-
Yes.
This is it, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're all on top
Yeah,
of
I didn't
each
receive
other.
any.
yeah, they're all on top of each other, yeah.
I think you may have, because it was like Candace had
was a-
recirculated like a.
Yes,
It was a
it's
reduced
revised.
copy, but I have the original.
It came, it came,
You
yes.
can pass it, John, I can't move, I threw out my back at the beginning
Oh,
of the meeting.
John?
Oh, sorry, Katie.
oh, this is mine. Is it
one
in
for
here?
John?
So whoever needs that, I just.
I'm like,
No,
Hi, John.
it
Oh,
was
yeah, just let me-
it was the
if you wouldn't
revised.
mind.
You
You
need to
didn't
take
get
it
the
back.
revised application, John?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't get this.
No.
Oh, all right, it came in the
I just
packet.
passed mine down, John.
Mine wasn't in the packet.
Okay. Okay, well, whatever. All right, I really don't see where you have options about placement for this. I assume you will vegetate, or is there vegetation there already?
No, none, I don't think you saw any. We have limited vegetation, we're gonna have to confront conservation for this area,
Yeah,
and I'm not sure how they're treating this area yet in terms of
I know, but
landscape.
in terms of, if you're asking for setback relief,
Right.
I would assume that you would put something in there to,
Oh, we're definitely gonna,
but and that would be a condition of the.
right,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, John, did you catch that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They would buffer it with landscaping, of course.
Right.
I don't think we need trees, we don't need, they don't
I don't
have
think,
seed.
but just to, again, I think that there is a fair amount of landscaping on their side.
Right.
Obviously, on yours it isn't, so I would suggest that there be something there that,
Mhm.
muffs,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
muffles the sounds.
Mhm.
What?
I'm just asking, don't they have to, with the noise, that's actually a code for noise, what is it, 230 something?
Oh, is there?
I think the town code actually states that when they do the electrical equipment or pool equipment, that, or AC units, whatever they are, they have to be screened and comply with the noise pollution section of the code. So I think it's gonna be required to do.
It's gonna be required by the building department, anyway. Yeah.
Okay, but that's good to know. All right.
Okay.
Is there anybody else on the?
No, we've heard.
Yeah, Miran, you're also gonna you're gonna tell the board about the plans?
Yeah,
Thank you.
As per Katie, and don't know your last name, I'm sorry. There's another issue that's not part of this application. I don't know if I should discuss it now or when you decide on this.
This is not relative to this
No,
application.
it's relevant.
It
All right,
is.
so as, remember, we had the first public hearing on this, then we made them re-advertise it because they were moving the units. While that was happening, they were also submitting plans to the building department to build a house on the property that had received prior variances from this board.
Right.
So they were getting all of their papers in order, and it was discovered that, you remember, when you get a variance from this board, you have to build the house that this board approved.
Right.
The building department noticed that there was a discrepancy. It does not affect any of the relief, but there was, I think the the house that the board approved had an open airway somewhere, right? An open areaway?
Correct. I have-
And now on the plan submitted to the building department, that areaway has been enclosed. It doesn't affect
Any
any of the variances, but I wanted it raised because normally, you know, we could say you gotta come back and swap out the survey. So I wanted Mayor to
Right.
explain it to the board, how that happened,
Right.
why that happened, whether it makes any difference to you.
Right, right. First
That's
of all,
reflected
the
in
board-
this survey now that we have?
Is it on this survey?
Right.
The new
It's-
survey?
It's on the building plans.
No, it's on the building plan,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay,
Oh,
so, and you'll
all right.
submit those
Yes.
building plans
Yeah.
to us?
I have reduced copies that I'm gonna explain to the board members. This was the original copy, that's looking at it from the side. This portion of the building was open on all four sides. Open to the elements, there's no roof on it. The builder's intention was, as the project developed, and they have no room for anything, condensers, they decided to use that area for patio furniture storage. By this being open, they decided, you know what, we're gonna put walls on three sides, still open to the elements. It would be rained on, snowed on, and everything. And it would look, to them, it would look nicer, to me, it would be just a little too, you know,
Boxy.
boring. So, all they're doing is putting three walls, and it's still open to the sun, to the snow, and all that. So they wanna use it as storage. So this way, the wind doesn't get in there and.
So that, but
blow
there's
the-
no setback, pyramid, or any other kind of
No,
problems
no,
with it?
no.
No.
So would this be like a modification
You know,
of the survey?
Yes, yes,
Modification?
it would, and,
Okay.
you know, once upon a time, it used to be very easy to make these modifications, but we started, you know, deciding that the neighbors should know about it, but because he's already advertised this twice, it just seemed efficient for him to bring it up before you. I know that there were neighbors in opposition, or neighbors with concerns the last time, so we figured, let's, you know, put it in here and see, you know, but that doesn't change the variances
Okay.
previously granted.
Okay, well, let's see if there's a neighbor who wishes to be heard on this
Yes.
subject. Okay, so we've got we've got the condensers and air conditioning, the pool equipment, and the enclosure of the patio space.
Correct.
Okay. Which is a modification of the building plans. Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to be
Yes.
heard? Okay, here they come.
Hold on, Tommy.
Here they come.
Hold on, Tommy.
Okay.
Hold your fire.
I think we swore you in,
That's
didn't
fine.
we?
Keith, it's a good night to retire.
That's amazing.
Your last,
Thank you
Not
very much.
yet.
your last act.
All right, hi. I've
Yeah, please
sworn
go to
you
the
in,
podium. Yeah,
but I want to swear you
Original
in.
lifted
Okay.
up.
Do you swear to tell the
Yeah, go by
truth, the
the
whole
mic.
truth?
Lillian, hold on. Go stand next to the microphone.
Have to speak into the microphone, yeah. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
Lillian Severnick, 38 Ocean View Drive, Southampton.
Who's this? Is this mine?
38 Ocean View.
38.
And you're just state your name
I'm
again.
Chris Severnick, same thing, 38 Ocean View Drive.
Okay. Okay, what's going on?
Okay. The zoning board approved a particular design for the house, and it was a long process to come to a determination of what the invasion of the pyramid could be for this house. Now, it was decided that the builder can build the first floor of the house in his basement, like turn the basement into a residential floor, and build one-story building on top of that basement. So that one-story building would be on level with the street, and they were not allowed to build a floor on top of that. Now, the design, and the design was done many times over in the building plans, was for a architectural feature. And we were told an architectural feature would not be taken into consideration for the pyramid law. So you can build something on top of your house that expands over the line of the pyramid, and if it's an architectural feature, it would have no effect on the calculation of the cubic feet of the invasion. So, I had our architect review this, and you all have the letter in front of you. The current stage of construction indicates the intention is to enclose the approved architectural feature on the north side and of the structure facing the street, and the east side and the west side. If the subject area is enclosed, as it appears is the intention, it will violate the pyramid law and will not comply with the approved ZBA drawings. We respectfully request that the construction comply with the approved ZBA drawings. The roof rafters and the infill framed panels of the approved openings will need to be removed to comply. And the attached copies of the plans and photographs of the enclosed portion of the building now.
All right, so we should have the building department look at that. I mean, because when the building inspector mentioned it to Candace and I, he said that it would not affect the pyramid, it would not affect the relief granted by the board.
Well, you just made that statement, yeah.
Yeah, but let's take a look, I mean, let's show it to the building department.
Absolutely.
Because, because
Well,
we didn't make them do a whole new application for
Yeah,
this.
but it would, it would be, a very substantial invasion of the pyramid.
Yeah, well, we'll have him confirm it.
Yeah, we have
If
to
it is,
confirm
then
that,
then he,
He's
he's
get-
gonna need a new application. If it
Yeah.
doesn't,
Yeah. Or he doesn't get approved. I mean,
Yeah.
Doesn't get
yeah,
approved.
right, so,
I mean, the original design, we are fine with, we
Yeah.
said, fine, it's okay, it's okay. All of a sudden, it's all boarded up.
but he thinks it needs a pyramid encroachment. He thinks it has a pyramid encroachment because it's so close to the property line and
Yeah, we
it's
have
got a wall.
10 feet, we have setbacks of 10 feet from the property.
very
line.
narrow, they're very narrow
Very
pieces
narrow.
of property, yeah, and if,
But
yeah,
if it's,
yeah, yeah, no.
blocking all our light.
you have to get to the microphone so they can hear. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll show it to the building.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
Do you
okay,
have-
so, thank you for, yes, go
Do you
ahead.
have questions?
Were you okay with the moving of the,
Oh, yes, we're in
We're happy about
all
it.
right, so you're,
Very
all
You were on the other side.
We're on the other side.
right, so you're just concerned about whether or not there's a
And
pyramid
then,
encroachment.
and then.
Okay, so this is a new aspect of the
Right.
application, and we need to explore it and see if in fact you're right, that it does encroach upon the pyramid, and then we're gonna have to make a decision about what to do. Or not enclose it. I mean, that was the other thing, is just not to approve the enclosure,
Yeah.
Right.
the modification that you
Right.
were looking for.
Closing that area, really, those thin walls don't affect the pyramid.
Yeah.
As
Well,
board members know, I
that's-
don't know if it was the
Well,
same.
let's have the building
Let the building department
department,
tell us that, this way,
because,
there's no issues.
thank you very much,
Mhm.
but we've got two conflicting views
Right,
here.
right.
We need to talk to our experts and
Sure.
let them come up with what the answer is.
Especially because we just kind of tagged it along on this.
Sure,
It's-
thank you, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
important to have it in writing.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Very
good.
Will do.
Okay, so,
Bolting open?
How,
Is
yeah,
this,
how long is it gonna
excuse me,
take?
is this the area that you were talking about that was now
The
you want
patio
to put
thing.
walls on three sides?
Yes,
This is the area up on top.
correct,
Right.
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
thank you for raising it, and we're gonna take a look at it and, find out what the answer is.
How long do you think we'll need to get, Kate, like, the building
I
department to
think
look
we
at
can
it?
put it for the next meeting, just so everybody can have some resolution of this.
5-3 or 5-2?
Say that again?
5-2 or
We can
5-16?
get the building department to
5-2.
look at this for our next meeting, right?
5-2?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm talking to Candace.
When is the next meeting? Is 5/2? 5/2.
Okay. What was the date again?
May 2nd.
May 2nd.
Okay, is there a
so-
second on that?
Second.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Mr.
comments.
Macedonio?
Thank you.
Mr.
Aye.
Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. Okay, so we'll get some clarification on that.
Thank you. And the original application would be decided at the next meeting?
No.
No,
So
we're adjourning this. We're keeping it open.
Oh.
Because we're getting an
Building
evaluation by the building department.
Got it, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, moving right along.
Item 12 on the agenda is Paul Grish et al. 4 White Oak Lane in Tuckahoe, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-129, 1-2.28. On November 21, 2013, by decision number D-013251, this board granted an accessory distance from street setback variance of 15.7 feet where 90 feet is required, excuse me, for a proposed swimming pool, and variance relief to allow the swimming pool to be located within the required front yard. By letter dated February 2nd, 2024, Nathaniel Bernard, architect for the current owners, is requesting that said decision be not modified to change the shape of the pool and to allow said pool to be located in the required front yard at a setback of 14.4 feet, where 15.7 feet was granted.
The board has jurisdiction. You pass that to me.
I haven't sworn you in before.
You have not.
Okay.
What?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
Nathaniel Bernard, 999 Majors Path, Southampton.
Okay.
999?
999, lucky.
Okay, so let's talk about your application here.
Yep, so our client has a little bit of a challenging property where they own 1.69 acres and are only allowed to develop under 10,000 square feet. In 2013, the previous owner was granted a variance for this existing pool, which is in the front yard. It's a vinyl kidney-shaped pool, which is aged and needs to be replaced. Where we've worked with Marty Shea in the Conservation Department, all of this purple area we're revegetating. We're removing the masonry and reducing our footprint of the masonry. And while we do all of these updates, we're also removing the second curb cut on the driveway and making the driveway smaller. And while we do all of this, we would like to install a gunite pool, which will only be a 4-foot depth pool, so better for the groundwater, and just square off the kidney bean shape of the pool. The area calculation for the pool, the current one is 407 square feet, water's edge. Our pool will be 406 square feet, so it's slightly smaller. So keeping the same water area and just looking to make it a rectangle instead of a kidney bean.
What's the dimensions on the pool? What by what?
The proposed pool?
Yeah.
I believe it's about 12 by 26. It's small.
Did you say, I thought it was at 12 by 24? No, okay. It
Okay.
doesn't.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this was approved for the kidney shaped with the setbacks, and now you're looking for modification to that variance, or that approval. You need to modify it, so.
And an additional 1 foot, 1.3 feet required front yard setback from 15.7 to 14.4.
And I believe part of that was that the pool was actually not built proper as per the initial variance. So that's why we have to get further.
You know, I had a question about the pool equipment and where that's located, and does that need any kind of a variance?
So the pool equipment is currently over in this area. We're moving it to this space, and our distances from the property line are increasing.
All right, so what is the distance of the pool equipment?
Current pool equipment, let's see if I can. Current is 7.6. Our filter, so 6'10" for the heater, 7.6 for the filter. We're gonna be 7 feet and 7'10". So we've increased slightly on each of them.
Okay. For the proposed, okay. Okay. And you're doing all sorts of revegetation and
Reducing
redoing
the paving,
reducing the
reducing
paving,
the-
making it pervious.
Reducing the driveway, adding
Right.
drainage, and, you know, we've had open discussions with Marty, received the conservation permit,
Okay.
wetlands permit, so.
Okay.
You'll need to provide that
Yeah.
to us.
The conservation.
To send that in to us, you know.
Have you sent that in already or not?
I don't
Do we have that?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not sure. I don't.
Okay, yeah, we had a lot of plans.
There has been a lot of work done.
Yeah, I know, but I don't
on this
see, I don't see it in my packet, so we do need that. Okay, whose is this?
This is
Any
anybody
questions
else?
from the board?
Yeah,
Anybody
anyone
in the
else?
audience that would like to comment on 4 White Oak Lane? Anybody on Zoom who wishes to comment on 4 White Oak Lane? Okay, Michael, it's yours.
Okay, so what else do we need? Do we need any clarifications? I
Need a
think
conservation board.
we'd like to get a copy of the conservation approval and permit. And we will close this. You have until May 3rd for written submissions, and we'll have a decision on May 16th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, item 14 on the agenda is Stacy Russell, 10 Birchwood Lane, East Quogue.
3-4 times adjourned. Anybody here?
Mr. Russell?
Zoom? On Zoom?
Is Mr. Russell on Zoom, Kevin? Mr. Taylor, I'm sorry, that's right, we did this once before, yeah. Mr. Taylor. Okay, Mr. Taylor is not, okay. Okay, so this, what do we do, put this off to,
The end. Let's see if anybody.
The second call at the end.
Yeah,
later.
I'll give him a second call after.
Mr. Taylor, okay, I keep calling it Mr. Russell.
Okay.
Okay, we'll second
move
call
on.
this at the end, okay.
We'll move on to 17, Stephen Clyde, 99 Lumber Lane, Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-71-1-24.
Hello,
Hi. Have I sworn you in before?
I'm an attorney, Robert Fischetti.
Okay. Mr. Fischetti, you please just state your name and
Oh,
address
sure.
then for
Yes,
the
Robert
record.
Fischetti, Vernon and Fischetti, 320 Hampton Road, Southampton.
Okay, thank you.
And I have the architect Mayron here, who was here last time.
Okay. That's right, he was here the last time.
Yes, yes, I was.
You were not.
brought on in between.
Okay. Okay, so tell us what's going on with this application.
Okay, so I did review the, the meeting from last time, and I know we submitted some stuff. I did want to just touch on the 5 points real quick, because I know it really wasn't mentioned too much in the last meeting. I mean, as far as the character of the neighborhood, so we're proposing to add a second story to the 1-story portion of this home. That section, or that area, is 15.9 feet away from the property line, or 15.6 at its closest. So we're asking to put 2 stories, 15.6 feet from the property line, which of course, based on the height, cuts into the pyramid. 63 Lumber Lane has 2 stories at 15.8 feet. 80 Lumber Lane has 2 stories at 10.2 feet. I have all these surveys I can submit. 83 Lumber Lane, 2 stories at 14 feet. 109 Lumber Lane, 1.5 stories at 10.2 feet. 127 Lumber Lane, 2 stories at 13.3, and so on. So the character of the neighborhood is a narrow lots.
Right, we
The
know.
2-story houses, they're close
And the
together.
existing house is at 15.6. All you're doing is adding.
Yes, we're just going up. We're not going any
you're
closer
not
to the
going-
property line or
and-
anything like
and-
that. And obviously, we can't add on to the top of that without a variance. There's no other way to achieve this, just based on the proximity to the side of the property line. The lot is only 87 feet wide, so we're really not working with a lot as far as width. The 9-foot ceiling version that we submitted, or like the first version, is requesting 962 cubic feet of relief, which, I mean, if you can even just sort of flip through the agenda tonight, that's really not a substantial amount as far as pyramid variances go, in my opinion, and from what I've seen from this board and variances I've received from this board for other applications. We did submit, at the board's request, an 8-foot version that was submitted by Mayron. That only changes the cubic feet, it brings it down to 883. It brings the peak down like a foot. It's really like
883.
cubic feet. As
It's
a-
876, I have in there.
876.
876.
Oh, I apologize.
876.
Oh, I'm sorry, I must have wrote that wrong. Right. So, I mean, when you're standing out on the street, or you're not gonna be able to tell the difference between 12 inches on the peak and, less than 100 cubic feet of encroachment into the pyramid. So we don't feel that it's a substantial variance. I don't think it's gonna change the character of the neighborhood. There's no wetlands, no flood zone, there's no environmental impact of any kind. This house is existing, it's quite an old house, so we're sort of working with what we have. We did also submit, I know there were some questions last time about the attic, we did submit some floor plans that show the attic is just unfinished space. We did, the garage is demolished. There is an approval from the landmarks board for that, that I have, I can submit that, or you might submit that, right? And that's been demolished. I requested a final inspection, but the building permit was issued, the landmarks permit was issued, so that's all over and done with. The new survey that was submitted with these updated documents removed the garage, so that's no longer on the survey. And I did also request, because it was noted there was an open permit for the outdoor shower, which was also as built, so I requested a final inspection for that, just to wrap those things up. So as far as the 9-foot versus the 8-foot, we don't feel it's a substantial change exterior, to the character of the neighborhood, to the public walking by. I don't think anybody would really perceive the difference. Where it can be perceived is inside, where we feel like the benefit to my client outweighs any detriment to the neighborhood, because the detriment to the neighborhood is almost imperceivable. To ask, 9-foot ceiling is our ideal. We did, of course, submit the 8-foot, and, we submitted that because we're willing to entertain that as well. We do think that, some relief here is justified.
Okay. Board, anybody from the board wishes to comment on this?
I have no problem with 9-foot as opposed to 8-foot, to be honest. I understand being inside is gonna make a difference.
Yeah.
Outside, you can't tell.
We do have the neighbor here, so.
Yeah, I want to hear from the neighbors before I make a comment.
Let's hear.
Can I just add one
Yeah,
thing?
go ahead.
The neighbor that I know spoke last time, I just would want to point out that, and it's one of the properties that I mentioned, it says 1.5 story on their survey, it's essentially they have a second floor. They're at 10.2 feet, right against our property. So we're only 15.6, we're not proposing any windows on that side, we're not trying to look out at them or anything. Their direction, when they look out at this is us, this is them. If we didn't build this addition, they're just looking at the other part of our house that's already there. We're not stealing any part of the sky from them or anything like that. It's the house, you've all been on Lumber Lane, you're looking up the road, there's no big vista or anything. So.
There's no windows proposed
We're not
for that
proposing,
side.
we would happily put that as a condition. They're not looking to peer over onto the neighbor or anything like that, but we do feel that it's consistent with how the neighbor's built and how the neighborhood is built.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Please come to the podium.
So, I have,
Well, wait, before you say.
I'm an attorney.
I understand,
Right, but you still got to get to the mic
but
and
not only
state
that, you
your
have
name.
to still state your name and your address.
David McMaster, 176 North Sea Road, Southampton, New York. Good evening, members of the zoning board.
Okay. And are you going to speak?
Yes.
And did I swear you in?
No.
Okay.
I did not speak.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Julia Cahill, and I live at 109 Lumber Lane.
Okay. Okay. David. What is this? What is this?
Right, so just for the board's edification, I've passed out copies of photographs that are taken from my client's neighboring property, looking directly at the location of the proposed addition. There's also photographs showing the streetscape that currently exists, and there is a photo of 91 Lumber Lane, which is the property immediately to the south of 99, and it shows the layout of that property with the one-story addition located in the back. So now that I've explained what I've passed out, I introduce myself. I'm David McMaster. I represent Julie Cahill, who is the owner of 109 Lumber Lane. It's the property immediately to the north of 99 Lumber Lane. We're here tonight, again, to reiterate our adamant opposition to the proposed variances as well as the construction that they're related to. I would reiterate my request that I made at the previous meeting, that this board refer the application to the Southampton Landmarks and Historic Districts Board, much like the property on Maple Lane that this board heard earlier. This property was built in 1910. Council has said that there was a previous determination related to the demolition of a garage on the property. That is not the only time when that board has jurisdiction. It's the issuance of a building permit. The granting of these variances will result in the issuance of building permits. And so we would renew our request to have that board take a look at this proposal and weigh in.
Now, which board are you asking for?
The Landmarks District and Historic, Landmarks and Historic Districts Board.
The Bridgehampton, Bulls Head?
No, it's the
not the Main
Southampton.
Street. It's
The
the
Southampton
Southampton.
Town.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
And that is because this building was constructed in 1910, making it more than 75 years old. And the variances would require the issuance of a building permit.
Well, doesn't that happen at the building department when
Anyway,
someone
yes.
puts their application?
That would happen
in?
at that stage of the application.
So, just to speak on the negative impacts of the proposed second-story addition, I would submit to the board that the variances will create a detriment to the nearby properties, particularly my client's adjacent residents. Any reduction of the already narrow space between my client's house and the applicant's house will cause my client to suffer a significant loss of privacy, as well as diminished access to natural light and ventilation. Further narrowing of the open space between these structures will impinge on access for function and safety. Think fire marshals, fire trucks, and those structures being that close together. This deprives my client of the rightful use of her property and heightens the risk for both residences. Based on the quote-unquote revised application and building plans, the proposed second-story addition will still require variances for the 876 square foot pyramid encroachment, as well as the 15.6 foot side yard setback where 20 feet is required. I would submit that these are still substantial variances. The revised plans do little to mitigate the detrimental impact upon my client. The proposed second-story addition will still block the south-facing windows of my client's kitchen, living room, dining room, and bedrooms. We reiterate that the approval of these variances will cause Ms. Cahill to suffer a significant loss of privacy, natural light, as well as diminished use and value of her property. So, Ms. Cahill is not alone in her opposition to these variances in the second-story addition. The board is in receipt of a letter from Mr. James Olson dated April 16th, 2024. Mr. Olson is the owner of 122 Lumber Lane, which is the property directly across the street from 99 Lumber Lane. In pertinent part, Mr. Olson writes, quote, "The proposed addition will dramatically increase the height and bulk of the previous non-conforming addition. It will create a, quote, Berlin Wall towering over the neighboring property," my clients, "and resembling the lot line to lot line houses found in some neighborhoods of Brooklyn and Queens. Bridgehampton is not Brooklyn or Queens, and our zoning exists to prevent it from becoming Brooklyn or Queens." We couldn't agree more and wholeheartedly endorse Mr. Olson's letter. Contrary to what the applicant and council claims, the proposed second-story addition is not in keeping with the character of the neighborhood and is not in harmony with the surrounding streetscape. There are currently no other houses on this section of Lumber Lane with second-story additions to the north of the primary mass. To be sure, some houses, including his immediate neighbor to the south, have additions. However, these other additions are typically located at the rear or south side of the primary mass, not at the north side. Moreover, none of these additions are larger than 1 story, and none are placed so close to the neighboring structure. Additionally, when
Mr.
viewed from...
McMasters, we do have a 3-minute limit, so if you could start to wrap up.
So, I think that this will disrupt the streetscape, and I would point out that this hardship that the need arises from is entirely self-created. Since he acquired the property in 1998, he's improved the property with a pool, a large pergola in the back, and it created a illegal opening to the, second opening to the driveway where no other properties on Lumber Lane have two driveway openings. This board should not approve these variances and further compromise the integrity and the cohesive nature of the streetscape. And I would encourage you to deny them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Note to the board members, the side yards are existing.
Yes.
All side yards are existing. We're not encroaching on the side yards at all.
We understand that.
And
The
the curb
pyramid
cut was
is not
approved.
yet.
It's not an illegal curb cut, it was approved.
And there is no issue in terms of fire trucks getting there.
Let's hear from Ms. Campbell.
Did you want to make a
I would
statement,
like
please?
to, yes. I'd just like to, I'm Julia Cahill. I live at 109 Lumber Lane. I'm the northern neighbor of Mr. Klein at 99. And I would really like you to deny this pyramid code. It's going to cause me a lot of hardship. It's going to cause me a lack of privacy. It's going to affect the window in my kitchen. It's going to affect my dining room, which is the only windows on the south. It's going to affect my living room and my 2 bedrooms upstairs. They all face south directly into this structure. The structure itself was done in the 1950s or sometime before they had zoning laws. So now we're going to build this enormous structure on a variance that never would have passed today because it's 15 feet from the property line when it's supposed to be 20 as the new laws are today. So all this height, and then there's going to be an outdoor terrace on the second floor. It's going to give me no privacy in my backyard whatsoever. So I just know why you can approve this enormous renovation on a code that it's in today's would not be passed because it is 15 feet versus 20 feet. And it will have a significant impact on my value of my property. I know that's none of your concern, but it is my concern. This is a man-created problem. You know, if he wants a bigger house, you know, can you put it someplace else on the property line? Or I just feel that when you're buying these old homes, you know you're not getting 9-foot ceilings. You're getting 8-foot. And it's really gonna change the landscape of the area
Can I
on
ask you a
Lumber
question?
Lane.
The house as it exists now, how does that affect the lighting and the privacy that you were talking about, the windows, the dining room, the kitchen?
Because when you build this addition.
No, I understand, but I'm asking, what's the impact as it exists now?
I got great light. Well, what happened also too,
You
I've
get
got
great
tremendous.
light?
I do because, I mean, I do get.
Comes
good-
over the house and.
It comes
Yeah,
because
except
it
it's-
comes over this way. So there's a point in the afternoon when it gets to one part of the house, it's not as sunny, but then it comes around. But I had to put in a new septic tank unexpectedly this past fall, and I had to take some trees down. So I get great light, and I know Mr. Klein's very happy that the trees are gone, because he tried to take them down. And, so I do get very good light in my dining room, tremendous light.
Okay, all right, that was my question. Are there any, I mean, these are narrow pieces of
Yes,
property.
and my house is 10 feet from the property line. My house is
I understand,
1901.
but what I'm saying is that, you know, there should be no tremendous expectation of sunniness and, openness. I mean, these are homes that are close together, and they've been close together for many years. They're old homes. And there's no increase in terms of the distance from the property line. The only difference is that it goes up, and that may take some of the lighting from your house.
Plus
But
that
he's- but
terrace
he's-
they're putting in
All right,
there.
but he's made the point that he's not gonna put windows on that side. So there's nobody gonna be looking into your bedroom and your dining room from that floor. And the terrace, I don't know, what's the, I mean, what's
Yeah,
the?
what can we do with the terrace?
What can we do with the terrace? Is it a necessary addition?
Up to the client. I mean, if it,
Ask him to remove it.
what's that? I'm
Ask
sorry.
him to not make it a terrace.
I mean,
But what I wanted to know to make sure to be confirmed, that one-story, single structure as it is now they're not gonna expand it east or west, that it's gonna stay the same footprint.
Same footprint.
It's the same-
And is that first story structure, is that ceiling height gonna be raised when they reinforce the floor?
Ms. Cahill, the existing structure, as you look at the house on the left side, the one story, is not gonna be touched.
So the structure
footprint's
that is
not-
there, you are not moving it east or west?
No.
At all?
As
But you're
stays
gonna
the
raise
same.
it up quite
Raise
a
it
bit,
up.
and where that part comes up, when the sun is over here,
Mhm.
I am gonna be at the shadow on my house, and
Okay.
I'll have no light.
All right, well, thank you for your comments.
That's speculation.
Yeah, I would submit that the sun is going to hit an
Speculation
angle,
is true.
it's going to angle just down the roof of the other part of the house, and it's really not gonna.
It's gonna change from
maybe
season to season.
10 minutes, you know.
But I would say that in light of the fact that the neighbor is so concerned, I would not be willing to approve a 9-foot ceiling.
Okay.
No, we're not.
I mean, I think that, you know, there has to
I
be some
understand.
accommodation,
I
and I
understand.
think that what Mr. Leonard suggested
wouldn't
in
approve
terms
a
of,
balcony.
about a terrace, we
Is
should
it-
take a look at that.
I don't think the terrace is part of this application. We're not asking for
I
any
could-
relief for the terrace.
No, but we're talking about like.
We're talking about conditions for approval of a
Yeah.
variance.
Understood, understood.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
My client said he will remove the terrace if necessary.
Okay,
Okay? He
Okay.
just texted me right now.
and,
And I understand.
In
the
real
8
time.
foot- Yeah, it's handy. And if the 9 feet is gonna be an obstacle, we did submit 8 feet, and we will.
I think you have to go with the 8 feet.
We will go with the 8
Yeah.
feet, if that will help us to move on today.
That's my opinion.
You want to take a poll right now? There's 1, 2,
All right,
and he ain't going to be here.
he's, yeah. Helen, how do you feel about the ceiling height?
I like it to be 8 feet, and I like the terrace to be done.
Okay, I think you
I think
got.
the owners already agreed to remove the terrace.
Yes, he confirmed that, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All
So
right. So
you
we're
seem
trying to make some
have a poll
accommodations.
of that.
Yes.
I
You know,
appreciate that.
And no
And people
terrace.
have property rights, and we try
Yes,
to
yeah,
do,
that
we
would be
try to
okay.
come down as some sort of a reasonable compromise.
Terrace is removed, so we don't have to address that.
There is an 8'6" version, I'm not trying to.
No, we talked to
Okay,
8 foot.
We said
Okay.
8 feet.
Understood, understood. I had to try.
Don't come back.
But okay, yes, so.
Wear
if
high
you-
heels up there.
Wait a second, we gotta, like,
Hold on.
is there anybody, yes,
Do we have plans with the 8-foot ceiling with the numbers?
Is that what we have
No, we
here?
don't have that.
Wait, me, ZBA, do I have the plans?
Yes.
with
8 foot.
The 8-foot ceiling with the pyramid numbers and everything on it? That's what I need.
okay.
And is that do we have a full size in the file is what I'm asking?
I'll bring it to you. This is
Do we, did we
Anybody on
get it?
Zoom that wants to speak?
the ninth.
There's nobody in the audience, is there anybody on Zoom? Okay, okay. Whose is this?
And we're going to need to
Literally
see a
nobody
plan
in the
without the terrace.
Right, and no windows on this.
Yes, no windows, yes.
And
Okay.
8-foot flat and,
Mr.
Nobody
Flat,
on Zoom?
No, he said nobody's on Zoom, so.
So he's gonna, just for the
He's
record,
ready.
He's gonna submit the plans with these 8-foot ceiling
Yep.
and the numbers that.
All right, so that he can do as a written submission.
Yes.
Okay.
So we would
Perfect.
be
All
able
right,
to
Michael,
close
this
tonight?
is yours. So we've got
yeah,
a,
so we're going to close the public hearing. And if you can get us before May 3rd or by May 3rd, plans 8-foot,
terrace.
no
Small
terrace.
versions of it right now.
I'm sorry?
I do have reduced copies,
Okay.
I do have them with.
That's fine, if you can get what Candace needs,
okay.
both reduced and
No terrace.
with
And
no
no
terrace
terrace.
and an 8-foot ceiling, we will then
Second floor terrace we're talking.
Second.
give a decision on May 16th.
Not a
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
It's been seconded.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr.
Thank you,
Macedonia.
So when we
everybody.
come back?
Mr. Leonard.
No need
Aye.
to come back.
May 6th, the decision's May 16th.
Chair vote.
What is-
Ms. Burgess,
decision.
hold on one second. Chair votes aye.
But there's no need for you to come
There's
back.
no need to come back unless you want to hear.
if you want to submit anything, do
Decision at
it
the
by
very
5:03.
And you don't want to.
Okay, I'm in the second call.
I want to say best wishes.
Item 14.
Oh, wait,
She's saying
Keith.
best
I
wishes.
wanna
She's
say
saying best wishes.
on your request.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Item 14, Stacy Russell.
That's right, second call for Stacy Russell.
Second
Mr.
call.
Taylor, Stacy Russell, second call.
Oh my God, it's 9 o'clock.
We adjourn it.
Mark it off.
When do we adjourn it to?
June.
December.
Okay, so what are we gonna do?
We're gonna adjourn it on.
2026.
June 12th. No,
It's held over
So
for,
either 5/16 or 6/6.
6/6.
6/6.
Okay.
6/6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, who's making that motion?
I move to hold Stacy Russell open to 6/6.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Aye. Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay,
okay, we're on to decisions.
we're on to decisions. Helen, I have two for you.
I have the
Right.
first.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, John, you want to go first?
Okay. I have a decision in Sharon and David Wexler, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-383-1-21. This application is for property located at 25 Shepherd Street, Queog. Applicants request variances to legalize a shed constructed without the benefit of a building permit. While this board does not condone construction done without a permit, it does find that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code to legalize the location of an existing shed constructed within the required front yard for the principal building without the benefit of a building permit. 1. Town Code Section 330-6, that references Town Code Section 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for an accessory distance from street, front yard, Homans Avenue, setback of 10 feet, where 70 feet is required. And 2, Town Code Section 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and Town Code 330-83C, yards, to allow the shed to remain within the required front yard for the principal building. These variances are granted as shown on the site plan prepared by August Henry Muff, R.A., dated March 6, 2024. The granting of this relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicants have already required or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, and is further conditioned upon the removal, compliance, legalization of the deer fencing on the premises prior to the issuance of any certificate for the shed.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio? Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. Okay. John, you want to continue?
Okay, yeah, I've got, I have a decision in 2331 Montauk LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-86-1-6. This application is for property located at 2331 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton. Applicant seeks variances for a proposed monument sign. This board notes that the premises was developed pursuant to variances in order to be used together with the adjacent parcel, where an almost identical sign exists. This board finds that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for a proposed monument sign on a non-conforming lot. 1. Town Code Section 330-205B1, general provisions, to allow a proposed monument sign to be located on a parcel where the building is set back 30.5 feet from the front property line. 40 feet is required. 2. Town Code Section 330-205B2, to allow the sign to be set back 16.5 feet from the front property line and for a side yard setback of 5 feet where at least 20 feet from all property lines is required. 3. Town Code Section 330-205B5, to allow a proposed sign to have a height of 7 feet where a maximum of 6 feet is permitted, and to allow the sign to be a total of 45.8 square feet from where a maximum of 32 square feet is permitted. And 4. Town Code Section 330-207A, illuminated signs, to allow a proposed sign to be internally illuminated in a Hamlet office district where internally illuminated signs are only allowed in highway business zoning districts, and for an externally illuminated sign that is not constructed with an opaque background, translucent letters and symbols as permitted by the code. The grant of these variances is for the proposed sign shown on the survey prepared by Stephen Barilski, LS, last revised February 19, 2022, and the signage details page S-101 of the plans prepared by Anthony Henry Andrews, P.E. of Delandro Andrews Engineering, late dated October 5, 2023. The grant of relief is subject to the conditions of such other permits as the applicant has heretofore required or may otherwise be necessary, including but not limited to compliance with Town Code Section 330-334F, certificates of appropriateness, and Town Code Section 330-207C, illuminated signs display times. All other signs on the premises must be brought into compliance prior to the issuance of any certificate for the proposed monument sign.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia? Ms. Burgess?
No,
Mr. Tuthill?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
I'm going to vote aye on this, in that I was part of the board that approved this same sign at the neighboring property in the past. I don't know if I would be doing it if this were new construction or if this is going to happen again. Obviously, you don't know how you're going to vote, but I will vote aye on this, and whatever happens at the new Civic Bridgehampton, historic district board, we may see this again, and I can't say how I would vote on it if we saw it again, but at this point, I'm an aye.
Okay, and I'm voting no on this application because I disagree with the procedural steps taken by the applicant. The previous variances granted to the neighboring property were approved prior to the establishment of the Bridgehampton Bull's Head Main Street Historic Overlay District and the Landmark and Historic District Board, which perhaps could lead to different considerations at this time. And while I realize there's a disagreement as to whether the ZBA should act on an application before the LHDB has had an opportunity to review it formally, any request for a certificate of appropriateness, I feel that we should take under advisement any determination made by them before issuing our own findings, so I vote no.
Okay, I have one more.
There's one more? Yeah.
Todd Getz and Deborah Getz, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-5-4-41. This application is for property located at 21 Dogwood Street, Noyak. Applicants request variances for a proposed second-story addition and covered porch to an existing dwelling on a non-conforming lot. After modifying the plans and reducing the pyramid encroachment, this board finds that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for a proposed second-story addition and covered front porch. 1, Town Code Section 330-84D, pyramid height, for a pyramid encroachment in the amount of 3,871.24 cubic feet, and 2, Town Code Section 330-6 that references Town Code Section 330-11, Residence District's Table of Dimensional Regulations, for a principal front yard setback of 23.8 feet where 30 feet is required, for a total side yard setback of 24.9 feet where 25 feet is required, and for a total lot coverage of 23.96%, where a maximum of 20% is permitted, as shown on the site plans and elevations prepared by Todd O'Connell, AIA, last dated February 22, 2024. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
I,
Chair votes aye. Okay, Keith, do you want to do yours?
Okay, William Siegel, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-134-4-49.9. On March 2nd, 2023, by decision number D023037, this board granted relief from the Town Code 330-11 for a height of 46.75 feet, where 42 feet is permitted, and Town Code 138-7A for a proposed one-family dwelling in a coastal erosion hazard area. Bailey Lockwood, Esquire of Bennett and Reed, counsel for the applicant, appeared before the board on March 21, 2024, requesting a 3-year extension of this variance as the applicant needs more time to secure permits since he is still in the process of obtaining final approval from the Suffolk County Department of Health Services. Therefore, this board grants a 3-year extension until April 18, 2027. All other provisions of decision number D023 037 remain in full force and effect.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, I have two minor variance application approvals. This is the minor application for Pablo E. Lendono, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-227-1-4. This application is for property located at 18 Old Riverhead Road, Hampton Bays. Applicant seeks a minor variance for a proposed swimming pool on a lot burdened by 2 front yards. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code Section 330-6 General Regulations that references Town Code Section 330-11 Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory distance from street front yard setback of 39.7 feet where 50 feet is required from the westerly property line, Washington Heights Avenue, for a proposed 28 by 14 swimming pool, as shown on the survey prepared by Christopher Henn, LS, last date updated October 5th, 2023. Granted, the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio. Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay, last one.
Promise?
Yes. This is a minor decision for Kelamachi Group LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-142-2-22. This application is for property located at 80 Anchor Street, Flanders. Applicant requests a minor variance for an existing dwelling that will have a non-conforming setback after a proposed 2-lot subdivision is complete. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code Section 330-6 General Regulation that references Town Code Section 330-11 Resident Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for a principal rear yard setback of 47 feet where 50 feet is required to the existing dwelling in connection with proposed 2-lot subdivision, as shown on the survey prepared by Jason Lettingham, LS of Sacleach Land Surveying. Is that how you pronounce it?
Close enough.
Close enough. Last revised April 2nd, 2024, and the plans prepared by Walter Merrill Dunn, Jr., PE, dated February 7, 2023. Grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio. Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Mr. Tudhill, would you like to make a motion to close the meeting?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to all my colleagues, past and present. And in particular, these 2 young ladies here. The town of Southampton is so fortunate to have them as employees. Candace has been with me forever. And Katie does a wonderful job. And I'd just like to thank the town for their faith in me all these years. And I hope I didn't ever let you down. Well, probably did. With my mouth. But anyhow, thank you all very much. I wish you good health. And I'm sure you folks will be fine here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
would you
it'll
like
be
to make a
tougher without
motion
you.
to?
I move to close the meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Adios.
Let's vote on it. Mr. Tudhill.
He said.
I just said.
Adios. Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Adios.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay.
Whack it. Whack it.
We're done.
Thank you.